The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is Joey Osborne.
And Blanco Loco.
And we are live on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Try saying that 4 times when you've had one too many drinks.
Yo, this is Rich Latta from One Nation Radio. This is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We present to you the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin It Strong Style. Let's go. It's the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin It Strong Style. Covering New Japan, they ready to hold it down. Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Josh. Come and hit a job out and bury all the frauds. From the Tokyo Dome over to the G1. Social Suplex is the network where we can get it done. I'm a chiller. Let them have it, cause this is just an intro. Keeping the strong style, 6 stars from the get-go, boy. Yeah, from Tampa Bay to the Tokyo Dome, this is Keeping It Strong Style with your hosts, Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Joshua Smith. And thank you for listening.
Welcome to Keeping It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Jeremy Donovan here alongside the young boy Josh Smith. On today's show, we'll be reviewing the CEO Cross New Japan show from Daytona, giving our predictions for G1 Special in San Francisco, as well as covering all the latest news in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. You can support our show and the network by subscribing on the podcast app of your choice and leaving a rating and review. You can also get all the podcasts and columns at socialsuplex.com. Go to socialsuplex.com/subscribe to sign up to get all the podcasts and columns delivered directly to your email inbox. Also, make sure you check out our friends at purerezuroad.com. They have a great piece up on the front page right now talking about Io Shirai's retirement from Stardom. So check that out and check out purerezuroad.com. Our podcast is featured on their podcast section. So give those guys a view, read their articles, check us out on there. All right, Josh, we're going to kick things off this week by talking about the CEO Cross New Japan show in Daytona, Florida. We made the 3.5 excuse me.
You alright, man?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in my throat today.
You're choked up because Io Shirai is going to WWE.
Yeah. We made the 3.5-hour drive to over from Tampa to Daytona to check out this CEO Cross New Japan show. So we're gonna talk about this, review it, kind of give our thoughts about all the elements of the show. So let's start off, Josh. What was your overall thoughts about the show?
Yeah, so I mean, the trip was real good. I got off work early. We met here with Rich and James. Put on some crank, headed out to, turned up the radio. DJ Rich was working the aux cord.
Yeah.
Turn on that crank. Felt like WrestleMania weekend all over again.
Yeah, dude, that's what I love, dude. It felt like WrestleMania weekend all over again. You had, the 4 of us back together again on a road trip. Like you mentioned, listening to Crank. We also threw some Joe Lanza in there and some other podcasts.
It's funny that, I found Joe Lanza, but you guys love him so much more than I do.
Yeah. Oh, dude. I'm, so close to, joining the Patreon so I can hear, his TV reviews.
Bro, you're a mark.
I am.
I like Joe a lot, and I thought it was really, really, really cool getting to meet him in
New Orleans.
Yeah. But man, you guys really like him,
dude. He cracks me up, man. I love him.
Yeah. So anyway, we ended up getting out there to Daytona. We found some freaking $20 parking, which was ridiculous.
We got worked.
Yeah, we did the job. We put the parking crew over, and
gave them a little taste.
So we get there, and I think we got there literally at what time was the show supposed to start?
The show, yeah. So the doors were supposed to open at 7. The show was supposed to start at 8:30. We stopped and got food, and I was looking at on Twitter, and I saw all these people that are the doors are not even open yet. This was after 7 o'clock. They're doors are not open. We've been waiting. I'm like, oh. I guess good for us. We can just sit here and chill, eat our Wendy's, sip our, the Jim Cornette hamburger there.
We ended up getting there. Once we got there, we had a little bit of tough time finding the actual entrance to the show. But once we found the entrance, it was smooth sailing. We were in there, and the only thing I thought was weird was when we were walking in, instead of them like scanning us in, they just looked at our ticket, ripped it, and handed it back to us. And I was like,
yeah, well, you weren't like waiting in line to get a drink. Like we went up there, and like the one lady was like showing the one other lady like how you're supposed to like rip the ticket, and I was like, what is going on? Like,
yeah, I thought that was weird.
Like, aren't you supposed to be like scanning the ticket? And then they like ripped the ticket and like ripped our row and seat number. So I'm like,
so we ended up like basically getting there later, so we didn't have to deal with what other people had to deal with. But according to the reports, the line, at 7 o'clock was just
out the door,
gigantic. Yeah. And the reason they weren't letting people in apparently was because the scanning system that they were using wasn't working apparently.
Right.
So that was basically the issue at that point. We didn't really deal with that at all. Like by the time we got there, everyone was already
in the building. Yeah. And I guess too there was like a meet and greet. There was supposed to be a meet and greet. I guess it still happened. I think it was like God and Rocky and a couple other guys.
Yeah, I mean that really when we got there, all the only the only guys that were greeting fans were it was Jeff Cobb, Dragon Lee, God, and Chase Owens.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I didn't really understand. Like it was kind of all over the place. I didn't talk to any of those guys or anything like that. But I couldn't tell if it was a line scenario because everyone just seemed to be all over the place.
Yeah, I didn't even know they were like officially doing a meet and greet. Like I hadn't seen anything about it all day, and then like it kind of like popped out of nowhere.
I didn't know if you had to like pay the guys to like talk to them or take pictures or something like that.
Right, like a WrestleMania weekend gimmick thing where like you have to like pay $20 for a picture autograph.
So I wasn't really sure what was going on there. The one thing I will say, another thing too, was once we got in, we actually, as soon as we got there, we ran into our boys from
the Orlando boys,
the Orlando crew. Yeah,
yeah.
And they run another group on.
Yeah, they run the We Are the People, the IWC group.
Yeah, those guys are cool.
Yeah.
Who is that? It's like Miguel Kaplan and what's the other dude's name? Like their main guy, I forget.
I'm blanking right now.
Anyways, they're cool. We ran into them, met up with them for a bit, and then there was a merch table, but like the merch was not. I was expecting like they're bringing over the merch from like Japan, and there really wasn't very much. There was nothing that you couldn't just get on ProWrestlingTees.com.
Right, and of course, me being the T-shirt mark that I am, I did get a Golden Elite T-shirt.
Yeah, I saved my money for concessions.
And Rich got a LIJ shirt.
Yeah, but I was just, with how many people came out to the show, you were kind of thinking like this would be a prime opportunity to capitalize on.
Oh, Jason Barksdale is the other dude's name.
Jason. Yeah. Jason's cool.
Yeah.
It seems like this would have been a prime opportunity for them to capitalize on this particular group of fans because they buy merch.
Yeah.
People were complaining because people couldn't find the merch table.
Yeah, like the Orlando guys were like, or no, wasn't it? No, it was Nova.
Yeah.
Nova was like, I was looking for merch, and I was like, yeah.
The thing is, it was right there. When you walked through the door, it was literally to the right. But it was very small. You literally, if you weren't looking for it, you'd miss it.
You would miss it, yeah.
And it wasn't that impressive, honestly. Like, it was a bunch of shirts that were just like, it was whatever. But it wasn't anything where I was like, man, I've been looking for this. Or, they didn't have Lions Mark, like, shirts, which if they had something like that, I probably would have bought,
Yeah.
So that was a little bit disappointing. And then, but the actual setup, when you walked into the arena, it's like a, 8,000, 8,500
setup
seat arena.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Like, really, really, really cool.
And one thing real quick, too, before we actually went in, we ran into Mr. ACP.
Yeah, that was cool.
Who drove in from North Carolina, was it right?
Yeah. Actually, I talked to a lot of people that drove in from, like, the Carolinas and stuff like that. But, yeah, we ran Mr. ACP, one of our, like...
listeners, yeah. It's so crazy. Like, we do this podcast. We've been doing it since December, and, we get all these downloads, but it's like, are people really listening? And, like, yes, we see people commenting and, like, engaging, but, like, it's so crazy to see somebody, like, in the actual, like, a real person, like, communicate with them. Like,
yeah.
I listen to your show. You guys are cool. Like, you guys are cool people. So that was awesome.
Yeah, that was really, really, really really cool moment. Happy we got to meet up with him. I was hoping we'd get to go out afterwards, but with the drive and everything, made it kind of difficult.
Yeah,
Plus, the show ran
really
so
late. Yeah.
But I'm sure he's listening. So Mr. ACP, what's up?
Yeah, man.
Real cool, getting to connect with that guy. I'm sure we will again in the future, as long as this show keeps going. And then, so we got in there, and like I said, what do you think of the setup?
So yeah, I thought the setup was nice. Walking there, I thought the arena looked really nice. The lighting, I thought everything looked like a really good professional, like a high level professional wrestling show setup.
Yeah, so I was myself just ecstatic once we walked in, just seeing all the New Japan fans,
Yeah.
all these people that are fans of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and that just made me happy to see that kind of fan base all get together in Florida. It's really different.
Yeah.
I will say this though, as soon as I walked in, I was immediately ecstatic, and then I looked at the ring, and when I realized it wasn't a New Japan ring, I got kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
I was still happy, and I'm not trying to be too nitpicky, but I was oh man, it's a New Japan show. I was really, really hoping for the blue mat with the white outline, at least at a minimum.
Yeah, I know this is not a real quote unquote New Japan show, but I was still expecting some certain elements that we watch on New Japan World. So, there was the ring, there was a CEO ring and not a New Japan ring. The ring announcer clearly was his first time,
Well, the thing is, too, is, they had CEO and New Japan, propaganda or, logos on stuff. So I heard someone say, they probably didn't do that because next year for CEO. I'm yeah, but you still got New Japan logos all over everything. So, if New Japan's going to be involved in it, how much... They clearly got that mat made. They clearly got the aprons made.
They said that they're going to keep using that ring.
Right, but they had New Japan logos on it, too. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's they went out and they got it made. If you're going to make it and you're going to put New Japan logo on it, how hard would it have been just to make a blue mat with a white outline?
Right, and make it look and they could just put the CEO logo.
Yeah, they could put the CEO logo on it. It would have been fine.
Yeah.
That would have made me a lot that was.
Yeah.
It sounds so nitpicky, but as a fan of the product, I feel I wasn't at a real New Japan show.
Yeah.
I got to see it. It felt like I got to go see a bunch of New Japan talent. And I'm not trying to shortchange the show or discredit it, but it did, I don't feel I went and saw a real New Japan show. The way that, I'm sure the people in, Long Beach feel when they watch the stuff at the Waltz Pyramid and all that, they really did go to a New Japan show. Right. I feel I didn't.
And I was mentioning, the ring announcer, you clearly can tell that wasn't his first, time announcing wrestling, and just he would announce the dudes, and there'd be a pause, and then the music would hit, and the guys would come out. That was a little weird.
We haven't gotten any numbers yet on the show, but what would you say was there? Maybe 3,000, if that?
I would say it's 3,000, 3,500.
I'm not the greatest at guessing, but it was not the place obviously wasn't packed, but there was a good sized crowd.
Yeah.
People seem to be very excited. But then once we got in there, we got in there late. And then after we got in there late, we were still just waiting
and waiting. Yeah, it took a while because it was supposed to start 8:30. I don't think the first dark match started until after 9. Yeah.
And that was So the first dark match started at 9. Now I will say this, for me as a personal observer, it did not bother me how late everything started. It really didn't affect my experience at all. But it was just because I was out with my friends, having a good time.
Yeah, we go out to wrestling shows all the time, and we just have a good time. And
so it wasn't I was oh my god, what's happening? But if I was if it'd been WrestleMania weekend and I'd gone to show after show after show and I was getting held up because this production like that, then I probably would have been really pissed.
Yeah.
But on that night, I barely noticed it.
And we were talking to the fans around us. We were talking to other fans and just chatting up, having a good time, waiting for the show to start.
Yeah, but then a lot of other people on Twitter and the people on the Twitch feeds.
I'm sure if you were watching the feed, you had to be pissed because they told you it's gonna start 8:30. You had to choose between watching Best in the World live or between this, and I'm sure a lot of people were oh, I'll watch this first and I'll catch Best in the World later. And this started so much more later, where they could have probably done it the other way around, watch Best in the World Friday night and then watch this show on demand.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, I don't know. It didn't bother me at all, but that's not me making an apology. That's just my personal experience. The people that were pissed, like, they have every right to
Yeah, I completely understand. I mean, if I was watching on the stream, I would be pissed.
Another thing, too, is, like, for a show that's supposed to be, that has the name of the second largest wrestling company in the world attached to it, who's trying to make a play to go into the international market, it's a bad look. It, like, that kind of unprofessional sort of thing. And they were saying, what was what they said, I'm sorry, what were they saying was the reason that they were starting so late? I remember there was an excuse saying with, like, production issues and things like that.
Well, I know they were talking about, like, they built the setup that day. It took them like 12 hours so I don't even know when they finished setting up. That could have been more of a delay besides the ticket scanner. They could have finished the setup late, and I'm sure they, after they set up, they had to, like, run through everything, make sure, like, the production, the music, and the videos and all that stuff was working.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what it was, but I mean, just in general, like, if you're gonna do a show, and I understand it was at a gaming convention, but if you're gonna do a show, you're gonna have New Japan Pro Wrestling's name attached to it. You can't do that. Right. You just simply can't. Like, it's not gonna fly. Like, it's not a good look. It's, I don't know. If I was New Japan and like my world champion was, like, producing this show with this company and like that was the kind of thing that was going on, I wouldn't be having it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Just like you said, it just wasn't a good look, and you expect a little bit more from, like, a New Japan co-branded show.
Yeah. Now, on the other side of things, it's not like New Japan had representatives there, like, actually running the show. Like, it was Kenny doing everything.
This was all Kenny's show, yeah.
So, I mean, you do have to kind of cut him a little bit of slack, but at the same time, it's like, hey, if you wanted to do the show,
right?
You took it upon yourself. Like, it's your responsibility to make sure that this happens the way it should. And life happens, and I mean, we give people slack, and I'm sure, like, it's not going to derail Kenny's career or anything that. But
and I think it's just one of those situations where you live and you learn. And if they do this next time, I'm sure they're going to take all the mistakes from this time from next year and make it better. Obviously, set up the ring in the arena like a day before, run through everything, make sure everything's working, and just kind of having all your I's dotted and T's crossed going into the day of the event.
I've also heard a lot of people say that the fan base that was there was a lot of, like, video game fans, but it didn't seem that way to me.
Well, yeah, especially, like, in our section on our side, I felt like it was all New Japan New Japan fans.
That's what it seemed like, the majority, just looking around at the shirts and the type of, like, people that are there. Not saying that there isn't a crossover of, like, gamers too, but it didn't seem like the people that were there were strictly
had, like, never watched New Japan before.
Yeah, like, they were gamers who were there for the convention, and that they got lured into the show just based off the reputation. Because I mean, I saw a ton of gamers outside of the convention just doing whatever they're doing,
just walking around.
And they clearly were not wrestling fans.
Right, yeah.
You could definitely tell there's different kind of dynamic, but there's a lot of people that were, like, hypothesizing, like, how many, like, non-Japanese.
Yeah, I heard Meltzer was talking about it this morning on Wrestling Observer Radio, talking about, because certain guys didn't get pops, like, he thought that Liger's pop wasn't as big as it should have been, and he thought, like, people weren't really marking out for Rocky Romero. That
I think part of it might not have been that they weren't necessarily, like, I don't think it was that they're gamers. I think that it also could have been that there's a lot of people there that were just, like, they're fans of New Japan, but they're casual fans, and they don't necessarily know who Rocky Romero is.
Right.
Like, the type of fan who is watching on Access.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, if you're watching Access TV, they're playing the big matches. I'm sure they've only shown a handful of Roppongi 3K matches.
Like, newer fans don't know that much about Liger. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah. Newer fans, they don't know about Liger, and I'm sure the Roppongi 3K matches that are on there, Rocky's just a manager, so they're probably in their head, like, what's this manager, like, wrestling Liger for?
So, I mean, I felt like that could be part of it. It could have been that there was, I mean, I'd be interested to see how many people were, I don't think we'll know, but see how many people were just, like, video game fans. But as someone who attended, it did not seem like it was split half and half or 60-40. It seemed like a vast majority of people that were there were New Japan fans or indie wrestling fans. just in general. Like that's what it seemed like to me, anyways.
Yeah, same here.
You want to get into the card?
Yeah. So the show started off. There was 2 dark matches. The first was, well, I guess I should say pre-show matches because these matches were aired. They weren't completely dark. The first pre-show match was Chase and Rance against Aaron Epic. Chase and Rance defeated Aaron Epic, and a lot of
good.
Yeah, it was a very good, opening match.
Real solid opener. There was one move that Chase and Rance did at the end. It was like almost like, I don't remember exactly, but it was like a version of the Hangman DDT, but it was like a Hangman DDT, but like a pile driver.
Yeah.
And that was his finish. And I thought that was really interesting. I never really seen that. I thought it was really, really good. Both guys came out. Nobody announced them. No music.
Right.
It was clearly a dark match. But then there was, like you were about to start saying,
a lot of controversy surrounding the pre-show match here. Chase and Rance is a registered sex offender. And honestly, like, this was something that I had no idea about going in. Like the name Chase and Rance, like, I feel like I might have heard of that name in like TNA back in the day, but like
I've never heard of it.
I had no idea who he was. I had no idea he was a sex offender, but apparently it got out during the show. People were, tweeting and putting on Reddit, like, how could Kenny Omega book a registered sex offender on his show? Yeah,
so they when the match started, actually, someone in the crowd did chant out something about a pedophile.
Yeah.
Because either Rich or James were like, whoa, did someone just like, and they're like, who are they talking about? We didn't know. And so we're just like, whatever, we just enjoyed the match for what it was. What did they go, 8 minutes?
Something like that, yeah.
They had a short little pre-show match. The match ended, and then, the next day, everything started, like, busting out on the internet. The other thing, too, Aaron Epic has, not the greatest reputation either. Like, there's been allegations against him for domestic battery and violence as well. And that's something where, like, you'd have to do some digging on Aaron Epic to kind of find it if you're on the internet. It's kind of hard to find that, but if you do some digging, you can kind of look and find stuff into him. We're actually here with a friend of ours, and they were kind of alluding to that they'd heard something, and I did some digging and I found that. But
since then, obviously, Kenny Omega has responded to a lot of people and has tweeted out an apology and talking about this stuff. And what happened was, they obviously brought in like a local wrestling school to help setting up the ring and be the ring crew and that kind of stuff. And so, Kenny threw those guys a bone and was like, you guys can have the first pre-show match. Just give me 2 guys that are capable of doing that. And so Kenny did not produce that match. He produced the second pre-show match to the main event. And so he said he gave it's Team Vision Dojo, which actually Chase and Rance runs in here in Orlando, Florida.
And he founded.
Yeah, so Kenny gave them the pre-show match. They picked the 2 guys they thought were the best for the spot, Chase and Rance and Aaron Epic, and that's what happened.
Yeah, so he had some comments here. He said, I wanted to thank everyone that turned into the stream or joined us live for the CEO New Japan show. All of our talent had a great time and fed off your incredible energy throughout the entire night. I'm incredibly proud of everything I personally produced, but unfortunately made a terrible oversight by allowing a dark match featuring local talent I wasn't personally familiar with. Admittedly, I met Chase and Rance once in 2004, but a lot can happen in 14 years. I'm terribly sorry for anyone in the building that felt unsafe or personally offended by his inclusion on the show. I will personally provide refunds to anyone in attendance that couldn't enjoy themselves because of this. As for fans that were taken aback on stream, again, my bad. I'd allowed our ring crew, also a wrestling school, to participate in Dark Match minus graphics and music as a show of appreciation for the hard work they'd done to help prepare our set for the show. There were a large group of people, and I'd very simply asked for 2 guys that could have a basic and effective dark match. Chasen and Epic were the wrestlers they chose, and I was reassured they were more than capable. The match itself went fine, and both of them were pleasant backstage, but I didn't realize until much later via social media, etc., that the first dark match I'd allowed for caused trauma amongst some fans. By no means do I wish to support or defend these people. I trusted blindly and potentially tarnished the name of an event that was very important to me and took a lot of time and finance to realize. I'm sorry for anyone truly hurt by this, and can assure people that I won't be taking chances like this in the future. I will monitor every detail directly if/when we challenge CEO versus New Japan Part 2.
And then also later on, I know he made some tweets offering a refund to anybody who felt offended by having Chasen Reigns on the show.
Yeah, he did say too. He said that he produced, like you said, all the matches from Dark Match number 2 on, and essentially that he gave the ring crew the opportunity to do that. Like we said, he said he didn't really know that the people that were wrestling were criminals in any way or anything of that sort. And he said that when he was working with them, they were just nothing but polite and that sort of thing. And it wasn't until much later that he found out what was going on. So, what are your takes and stances on it?
Yeah, so here's where I stand. I mean, I feel it's obviously a very huge mistake, a very terrible oversight. But on the other hand, Kenny's only human. He made a terrible mistake. He thought he was doing something good by offering Team Vision Dojo a pre-show match on the show because they helped out all day with setting up. Like I mentioned, throw him a bone, and he just thought he was doing a good thing, helping those guys out. And they just picked 2 guys. All he was looking for was 2 guys that could have a good dark match, and which they did. He didn't stop to think, maybe I should background check these guys before I let them wrestle on my show. So
a couple things that I feel like need to be sort of discussed here. And I have no dog in the fight one way or the other. I'm not looking to defend Kenny. I'm not looking to exonerate him. Nothing like that. We are fans of Kenny Omega as a wrestler. But, with this sort of thing too, again, you've got the number 2 Japanese wrestling. You got the number 2 wrestling wrestling company in the world's name attached to your show. The fact that it is an oversight is unfortunate, but also it's not a good look. Like I said before. With wrestling, the way that things work, they're not going to probably do a background search on every single individual that's involved in the show.
I'm sure if you go to your local indie show, there are probably guys on that card that have very shady past that you wouldn't know unless you did the time to dig and research everybody.
So when a company like Ring of Honor or Evolve or something like that, comes into a local area and they're running a show, they usually don't pay for everybody that's involved with their company to come in as ring crew or what have you, security, all that. They'll usually let the wrestlers from local wrestling schools come in and help with those sorts of tasks, give them exposure to the business, that sort of thing. It happens all the time whenever we go to some of the bigger company shows. The guys that we know from Tampa Bay Pro or from MLW or whatever companies that are around here, FIP, they'll all end up working those types of gigs.
We saw some Tampa Bay Pro guys on this show.
Yeah, so it happens all the time. With that being said, if you're working with a wrestling school, you're not going to be like, hey, Joe Schmo, trainer and owner of the company, did you background search every single guy? It's like, hey, this is what we need. They're doing a kind of like menial task. Now, where it changes is where somebody wrestled on the show, they got exposure basically based off of Kenny's name, New Japan's name, that sort of thing. Part of my only questions on this, and it's not me accusing, but it's me wondering, and I feel like there's nothing wrong with asking questions. Kenny said that he didn't, he only met Chasen Reigns basically one time and was only somewhat affiliated or familiar with him, but dude owns the school.
Right.
So who set it up? is what I'm kind of wondering.
Like who set what the relationship up? Like who? Yeah.
Like who called Team Vision Dojo and it's like, hey, we need because the ring was offered by, that's who owns the ring is Team Vision Dojo, and they need to work with somebody to get a ring for a production like this.
Who knows? I mean, Kenny obviously he knows a lot of wrestlers live in Orlando,
right?
And I'm sure Kenny could have made a call to anybody and said, I mean, we saw Bobby Fish, we saw Simon Gotch, walking around the show. He could have called one of those dudes up and said, hey, do you guys know a school that's in Orlando that I could work with? And they could have said, either said, yeah, Team Vision Dojo, I've heard those guys are pretty good. Call them up.
That's where I feel like part of the oversight is problematic, because the guy who owns, it's not just that. See, the way that Kenny painted the picture was he's like, hey, we gave them an opportunity to pick two guys. These are the guys they picked, but one of the guys they picked is the owner of the company.
Right.
And so I am wondering, I'm not accusing Kenny and saying, oh, Kenny definitely knew or something like that, but I am saying that somebody who connected them to them either could have easily known or should have known, probably.
Right. More
than likely.
And they didn't give Kenny the 401.
The thing with Jason Rance's situation is if you do a search of him online, it just takes 2 seconds. The first thing that pops
everything
up.
comes up.
Yeah, it pops up. It's not like Aaron Epic's situation. Like, everything pops up. And again, it's not like Kenny's going to go out and research every single person, but I am wondering, like, who set this up? Was it CEO that called him and was just like...
I mean, there are a ton of wrestling schools in Orlando that he could have chose from. Heck, there's schools here in Tampa that he could have used as well.
Yeah, I mean, Orlando's a hotbed. I mean, there's a lot of different companies they could have gotten to do this, but unfortunately they used this company. The other thing, too, with it is, I don't know... I just feel like it's a little bit weird that they... were like, hey, you guys can have a match, but no graphics, no music. And the guy that's wrestling is Jason Rance.
Right.
Whether that means that they knew something or not, and I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but I'm just saying that's not a good look. Again, it's another like thing where it doesn't look good.
Yeah, I mean, based on the story, I don't see completely weird that they would send them out with no music and no graphics, especially if this was, because this was obviously not planned part of the show going into it. He thought he was doing them a favor, so not doing graphics or name or music, I can see why they wouldn't do that. Whether if it was two different guys, like I would see why not doing a good reason for not doing that.
Yeah. Now I think like what Kenny has said and done is on the right track, where he's like, listen, if you were offended or you were upset, we'll refund you your money. Mm-hmm. Hopefully only people that are actually bothered and traumatized by it are people that are taking them up on that, not like scumbags trying to just
get their money back. Yeah,
even though I thought about it because I'm a scumbag. No, I'm just playing, but that's great, and him kind of addressing it's probably the right thing to do, and if it was truly an honest mistake, that's a lesson that he's learned. But I will say this, whether it was a mistake or not, I'd be pissed if I was New Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I would be.
I'm sure Harold May...
I would be pissed.
Yeah, Harold May did not like hearing this.
Bro, from the production issues and the complaints from fans and all that, and then, this pops up as well. Whether Kenny meant to do it or not, just because... If you break the law just because you didn't have knowledge of it doesn't mean you can't get, convicted of it.
Right.
That's... If I was the owner of this company... I feel like I would blame myself a little bit for giving Kenny the ability to go in there and just run a show without any kind of New Japan oversight. Like, I'm kind of like a control freak anyways. So, like, I would never let one of my employees just take the name of my company and attach it to his produce show in America,
right?
With no supervision and no guidance. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, I don't know how involved New Japan was, but it seemed to me like they were not
involved much.
If
they
at all.
They gave Kenny the rights to use the name, the logo. They gave him a set of wrestlers and have fun.
That's what it seemed like to me, and you can't do business like that. Like if you're trying to make it here in the States, because I mean this show was a good show, and we're the biggest story is the issues that they had, and then this thing with Jason Rance.
Yeah, I mean clearly this show production wise, it was not on the level, like you mentioned, of like a G1 special in USA or even the Strong Style Evolve UK shows.
The stream stuff that I've seen looks really bad.
Yeah.
It looks really grainy, really dark. The whole thing has like a gray feel to it. I don't know. You know, I mean, I guess it's just, you know, what happens when you use Twitch, I guess. I don't know. I'm not too much up on that sort of stuff. But, yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. You know, I will say this, like, fans that were outraged, I don't think that they're necessarily wrong, but I also, again, I feel like there's that collective group of people that just, like, are looking for reasons to attack New Japan, I guess, you know? Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't want to say that there aren't people that aren't genuinely offended by this, because I'm sure there really are, and this is a touchy subject, but I feel like there's other people who are just like, oh, they effed up, here we go.
Yeah. Thanks for the ammunition, Kenny.
That's what it feels like.
You loaded the gun for us.
You know, Kenny did respond to certain fans and he was like, if you guys think I like actually would, you know, mean to do this, he's like, you know, that's on you. He's like, obviously I would never do that.
Right.
So,
and I think the thing too, like, honestly, I am not trying to stand up for Kenny or say it was right or anything, but being a professional wrestling fan, if you've watched wrestling for a long time, there's a lot of, you know, just sketchy and horrible stuff that has happened.
It's a carny business.
Yeah, that's happened in the history of pro wrestling. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be upset by this thing, but if you've been watching wrestling for a long time, like we have, like you've seen, and
well, I saw someone that was like, well, what if WWE had done this? And then a friend of ours was like, yeah, they got a convicted murderer
in the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and just some of the stuff that like happened in the Attitude Era, storyline wise, just like you watch it back now and you're like, what were they thinking?
So I mean, yeah, it is what it is. It's a terrible thing that happened. You know, another thing that someone pointed out, they said, you know, like that, I guess Scott Hall is good friends with Jason Ranson, has involved him with different things that he's done on the internet before, and like no one's really ever said anything. But I don't know if it's just, I think part of it's just maybe this guy wasn't on anyone's radar prior to this. Now, you know, it's like groupthink mentality, you know. Like, you know, someone says something and then everyone jumps on the bandwagon.
The mob mentality.
Mob mentality. So I don't know, but you know, that sucks that happened. I don't see it happening again in the future. I don't even know if they're gonna do another one of these in the future. Honestly, we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
But let's get into the real show.
Yeah. So moving on, the second pre-show match, we had Michael Nakazawa coming out doing an open challenge, and this was hyped up on social media. Michael Nakazawa is one of Kenny Omega's best friends. He's a former DDT wrestler, lives in Thailand now.
Yeah, they're saying Thailand. I thought he moved to Singapore though. I don't know. I remember reading that when he left DDT that he was going to Singapore, but I don't know. But he might be in Thailand now. It's hard to tell.
Yeah. But, you know, Kenny's one of Kenny's best friends. Kenny wanted to give him an opportunity to shine. He thinks this guy's really talented and should be, you know, doing more stuff in wrestling. So Nakazawa came out, you know, before the match, you know, he was just healing it up, you know, saying
it was great.
He could beat any American, and the Japanese people are better than Americans at wrestling and video games. And man, he was just hilarious. He had really good English, and he was just cutting, you know, these awesome heel promos, getting the crowd riled up. But it was just hilarious.
Yeah, the first guy that he ended up fighting came out, and it was another like local jobber
guy. It was like an unnamed wrestler, just a skinny guy, and
probably from Team Vision Dojo as well.
He called him Skinny Boy.
Yeah, he's like, "What you doing here, Skinny Boy?"
Yeah, it's your typical like small indie wrestler, like skinny.
He was real small though.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Are you even trained to do this?"
Granny Alvarez would call him a skinny wimp.
He's like, "You lift weights?"
Yeah.
You ever lift a dumbbell? And then Michael Nakazawa basically walks up to him and is like, you know, I'm a good guy, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself.
Yeah, he's like, what's your name?
What's your name?
Like, gave him the mic and then, like, attacked him.
Yeah, as soon as the kid was about to say his name, he kicks him, he just attacks him. They have, like, a good little couple-minute match. He's just doing tons of heel, like, hilarious, like, comedy crap.
Comedy spots. And then he pulls out a thong from underneath his wrestling gear and does a thong mandible claw.
Yeah, that was...
To Skinny Boy.
Yeah, Skinny Boy taps out, and then he gets the mic again and starts cutting another promo. Says he's going to beat up all the Americans, even if there's 100 of them.
Yeah, he's like he's not leaving until he beats every American. And then you hear all of a sudden out of nowhere you hear somebody like on the microphone and coming up, and it ended up being Alex Jabali, who is the promoter of CEO. He made his way to the ring. He was in a wheelchair because he tore his Achilles practicing for this match.
Hey, you know what they say, don't try this at home.
Yeah. So he rolled up to a wheelchair, and then they had to like lift him out of the crowd. They gave him some crutches, and he made his way to the ring and accepted the challenge.
I will say this, I thought that everything with Michael Nakazawa, I was just like, and I think we all were saying it, like, he needs to be on TV.
Yeah.
Like, this is just, it's one of the most entertaining things I've seen in a long time. Like, and I go to wrestling shows all the time. I was like, this guy is
awesome. We was all of us, we were all impressed by him and thought he was awesome. Like, this guy should be like in a top star in a big promotion right now.
And then, yeah, so the stuff with what's the guy's name? Alex Jabali, okay. I was a little bit on the like, this has a WCW kind of feel to it.
Yeah, non-wrestler coming in, like having a match.
Yeah, but I mean, it was whatever. It was a dark match, and then like I remember in this match, Nakazawa was just putting baby oil all over himself.
Well, before that too, he got heat because Jabali came in with the crutch. And he was like, you can't use that. You're going to hit me with it. And like kicked the crutch away from him. And then he started beating him. But yeah, he pulled out the baby oil and was like sheening himself up.
He put so much sheen on him. I actually found a picture of him where like he has just nothing. It's him and Ibushi.
Yeah.
And Ibushi's like totally dry, trying to stay away from him. And like Nakazawa is just covered head to toe in oil. And he's got like a big tub of chicken grease. Literally, he's holding like a big tub of chicken grease, and that's what he's putting on himself.
And he was like using it to like slip out of moves.
Yeah, like he was he'd be in a move, and then he'd put the baby oil on himself, and he'd slide out of it.
Yeah, it was so hilarious. Funny. He tried again for the thong-assisted mandible claw, but it ended up on the referee.
Yeah, they got on the referee. At one point, he had Jabali on the ground, and he took a bunch of baby oil.
And squirted on Jabali.
He squirted on him, and then he hit the ropes, and then he slid off of him.
And did a senton.
Did a senton, and we were like sliding.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, we really enjoyed Michael Nakazawa. A lot of people were offended by him, too.
Yeah.
Like, people all over the internet were offended by his, like, anti-American comments. And I was like, have you guys ever watched wrestling ever?
Yeah.
You guys wouldn't have made it in the days of Yokozuna. Like, what do you, Mr. Fuji?
And I think there were some people, too, that the reason they cut that promo specifically was to try and, like, negate some of the heat from Kenny's comments last week about Japanese wrestlers.
I was just like, man, how are heels going to get heat, man?
Right, we gotta get heat somehow, man.
But I don't know. I mean, this didn't feel like, I didn't see it as being like stereotypical racist.
Right. It didn't seem like anything we hadn't seen before in pro wrestling.
It wasn't like those gender promos on Nakamura from last year. Yeah, it wasn't like that.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's whatever.
I thought it was fine, but so while the ref was distracted with the thong mandible claw, Jabali used his crutch to hit Nakazawa, and he hit the attitude adjustment and got the win.
That's right, he hit him with the AA. I forgot, he pinned him with an AA. That was funny.
So moving on to the next match, we're on to the main card now.
Well, before we move on to the main card, let's talk. So Kenny came out.
That's right, yeah.
That, and he basically like apologized to everybody for, how long it took to basically start the show. And then he was like, oh, and by the way, here's another like 15-minute like, hold.
All right.
So then, like, we waited, and then, like, it was, like, another intermission, and then the intermission ended, and it still didn't start, and then they did, like, another 10-minute clock.
Yeah.
The main show didn't start till, like, 10:30.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, that was wild. So, yeah, and then, Jabali told a story about practicing to do a mystical drop kick and tearing his Achilles, and, like...
I don't even know who that guy was. Like, to me, he was just a prop. Like, it was all about Michael Nakazawa. And some dude in crutches who was just, like, he was there. He might as well have been having a DDT match with, like, a mannequin, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. But, yeah, it was whatever. But, so yeah, after the double countdown clock you mentioned, we were finally got to the main card, and things kicked off with Jushin Thunder Liger against Rocky Romero. And from my vantage point, it sounded like the crowd was in love with Liger.
Yeah, Liger got one of the largest pops of the whole night, from what I heard.
Yeah.
I don't know how it came across on the live feed. But, I mean... Yeah, Liger had a huge entrance.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, this was a good little match here. Rocky was playing the heel in the match.
Yeah.
Obviously, Liger with the baby face. And, they kind of did, like, their normal spots. Liger hit the tilt-a-whirl backbreaker a couple times. Rocky had, his forever lariats that he does.
Yeah, no one, like, chanted forever.
Yeah, except us.
I was like, forever! And, like, yeah, but we were pretty far back. By the way, we had awesome seats for this thing. Like, we were section 104. We were like,
oh, perfect.
Yeah, we were like right in the middle.
Center. Oh, it was perfect. And speaking of Rocky Romero, we were hoping to be able to meet up with him before the show started. But obviously, with all the production stuff going on, I'm sure he didn't have time, and we didn't get a chance to connect with Rocky here. But hopefully, in the future, we'll
hit you up, Rocky. We know you're listening.
We'll be in contact with Rocky, and we'll try and get him on the show here as soon as possible. But I
think he had to focus all his attention on, Puroresu superstar and legend Jushin Thunder Liger.
Yeah. But he ended up losing the match here. Liger hit him with the Liger bomb.
Yeah. It was so cool just being able to, I mean, like, from a mark out moment, like, I saw Jushin Thunder Liger wrestle, like, live.
I had never seen Liger wrestle live before. So that was just like an awesome experience.
That's one of those things where, like, in life later on, like, because we all go, like, people are going to be, like, talking about Liger, and I'm going to be like, yeah, I remember when I saw him live in Daytona wrestling.
Yeah, I remember when he hit that shote on Rocky Romero.
So that was cool. Great little opener. And then the Guerrillas of Destiny took on Juice Robinson and Dave Finlay, which I didn't really have high expectations for this, but I thought this was, like, really good.
Yeah, and, fans were definitely behind Juice Robinson, but this was a Bullet Club crowd, and G.O.D. was pretty over.
Yeah, G.O.D. was over.
Yeah, a lot of G.O.D. chants.
I was surprised about that a little bit.
People throwing up the two sweets when they came out.
Yeah, we were some of them.
Yeah. I mean, these guys are awesome, and
you know what? It didn't seem like people were that much behind Juice in this match.
Yeah, I mean, there were definitely more G.O.D. backers than Juice backers, and I feel like nobody was, like, even cared about Finlay being there.
Yeah. I mean, and that kind of makes sense, but it was just a little surprising because I think of Juice as being, like, one of the most over guys in the company.
Right, and I mean, Juice is a guy. You look at this year, he's, like, consistently on Road 2 shows, big shows,
title shots.
Yeah.
He's in the tournaments. Like, he's had a great year.
And G.O.D., they've kind of been, like, on the back burner. Like,
they had that 6-man tag title run, and since then, like, they haven't done much. They haven't had, like, hardly any, like, tag team matches, just the two of them. Like, it's been a down year for them.
And they've, like, pretty much been absent for the most part in this whole Bullet Club war.
Yeah. So I don't know, but they were over with this crowd on this night.
Yeah. And Loa and Tama Tonga ended up getting the victory here. Tonga hit the gun stun on Finlay for the win.
Yeah, that was cool.
And the one cool thing about this match, they did brawl it out into the crowd.
They came right by us.
Yeah, Tama Tonga had dragged up David Finlay.
I could barely see it, though.
Yeah. But so that was kind of cool. But yeah, good little tag match. Next up, we had Jeff Cobb taking on the crown jewel of the Bullet Club, Chase Owens.
Oh my God, I was marking so hard. Literally, marking so hard for Chase Owens.
And I feel like a lot of people really didn't know either of these guys. There wasn't a huge reaction for either of them.
No, not at all. This was something where you said if you were doing it differently, you might have made this the opener.
Yeah, I would have put this match on first just based off crowd reactions. I mean, they ended up having a good match. I mean, Chase Owens, man, this guy is so underrated. He's so good. He just, man, he's just so smooth in the ring.
Every time I watch Chase, I'm blown away, and it's weird because we were watching it with Rich and James, and Rich was like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you not get? This guy's freaking awesome.
Yeah, he's good. I mean, yes, he is an enhancement guy. He's not gonna be winning a bunch of matches, but he's very good at making his opponents look good and just even being a credible threat to his opponents. And I heard Meltzer saying Chase Owens is a guy that people would have loved to work in the territory, like a guy that's gonna put you over, but it's also gonna make the match look really, really good and have a good match with you, and somebody they could draw money with, with this guy.
Yeah, I think Chase is great. I thought he made Jeff Cobb look like $1 million in this match. I mean, he bumped like crazy for him. I thought his heat segment was really, really, really good. All around, this was a very enjoyable match. I think it caught a lot of people by surprise because even though people didn't know who they were in the beginning, by the end of the match, the crowd was really into it.
They were popping for a lot of stuff.
And I mean, obviously, because Jeff Cobb is just a monster and he has awesome impact moves and he's super impressive. But Chase, to me, Chase was the more impressive guy here, like he is in most matches, a lot of the time, anyways. And they went 13 minutes. Jeff Cobb got the tour of the islands for the 1, 2, 3, and I thought both guys looked great.
Yeah. Then next up, we had another tag match. Ryusuke Taguchi teaming up with Dragon Lee to take on Roppongi 3K, Sho and Yo. This was a competitive match with a lot of action in it. A
lot of Taguchi comedy in the beginning, too.
Yeah, I saw some people that said they were offended by Taguchi being on this show, too, and were uncomfortable with the amount of hip attacks, which I'm like, you clearly don't watch New Japan if you're uncomfortable with Taguchi.
Wait, what are they offended about him by?
Just the amount of hip attacks that he was doing, and just
what? Because he uses his butt to attack people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I saw that and I was like, are you serious? But yeah, of course, this is Taguchi, so there were plenty of hip attacks in this match. But even though, he got his comedy in, I feel like Taguchi worked really hard in this match.
Yeah, he did a plancha.
Yeah.
And a tope. We got a little bit of that big match Taguchi in here. Roppongi 3K did their thing, They were really good. Dragon Lee looked great.
Yeah, I mean, they continued the Dragon Lee Show rivalry. Those guys were getting in each other's face and they had a lot of interaction. Dragon Lee did his awesome spot where he bolts over the top rope and does the Hurricane Rana.
Yes, yeah, that was crazy. He did that on our side too.
Yeah.
I'm not one of the people that thought that this was the match of the night, but a lot of people did think it was.
Really?
From what I was seeing, yeah, a lot of people really liked this match.
And then at one point, Rocky Romero came down. He recovered from the Liger Bomb and made his way down to the ringside and was trying to interfere on behalf of Roppongi 3K. But it backfired, and Dragon Lee and Taguchi ended up getting the win here.
Yeah, so I mean, Taguchi ended up getting the Ghetto Clutch for the win. Real good match. At the end of it, Dragon Lee and Sho
stared down again.
We're face to face and nose to nose and kind of going at it. So, we all remember how great the match they had at Best Super Juniors was. I'm wondering if that's a feud they're going to continue in the future.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They're teasing a lot of feuds for Dragon Lee right now. We know this coming up Saturday, he has a junior title shot coming up. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But also, they're teasing the match with Desperado. They're teasing this match with Sho. I mean, I would love to see more Dragon Lee in New Japan for the rest of this year.
I would be surprised if that happened, but yeah, I mean, anytime you're gonna, offer Dragon Lee to be part of, the New Japan roster, I'm all for that.
Then we had our main event of the night, the Golden Lovers, Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi, taking on Los Ingobernables de Japón of Tetsuya Naito and Hiromu Takahashi. And this was just great. We got to see the IWGP Championship belt live and in person. We saw the junior title. We saw the Best of the Super Junior trophy. And we saw these 4 superstars.
Yeah, I mean, the crowd was... they were way into Naito.
Oh, yeah.
Like, really, 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 really into Naito, which kind of leads me to believe what I was saying earlier might be true. Like, it could be fans who are fans of New Japan, but only
watch Access,
or like casual fans. They know the big stars. And obviously Naito's a big player in the sport of wrestling. So I mean, he's one of the guys where it's like you've heard of him, about what LIJ is, you know the gimmick if you're a wrestling fan. That's what led me to believe that it wasn't so much just like, gaming fans, but maybe, it's like indie fans or like, New Japan fans.
Right.
And Naito was over like Rover, man. Like, he got a huge pop, like way bigger than Hiromu.
Yeah.
Hiromu didn't get much of a reaction.
But there was reactions for Daryl, though.
For Daryl, there was. That was the weird thing. They were all into Daryl. So that led me to be like, what? I don't know.
You made a joke. You were like, Daryl's the most over person in the ring right now, and all 4 of them were in the ring.
Bro, he was.
Yeah.
The Golden Lovers came out. They actually came out to a new song.
Yeah, like a rap remix thing.
That was different. I like it a lot more than their actual music.
Yeah.
I don't like their music.
Neither do I.
I don't know why. There's something that it's just it doesn't hit hard, Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, this match, these guys before the match even started, like the crowd was chanting, "This is awesome!" Like they were so into this matchup, and I don't blame them. I was too. So yeah, I mean, the anticipation was there. And then what happened where Daryl ended up in the rings?
So at one point, like Kota Ibushi and Hiromu were started off, but then Hiromu like jumped out of the ring, grabbed Daryl, and then Daryl was in the corner, and Kota Ibushi started staring off with Daryl. So then like Hiromu grabbed Daryl and like put him in like the middle of the ring, and then like Kota Ibushi and like Daryl Kota Ibushi was like squaring off with Daryl. And then, like, Daryl, like, fell over, and the crowd was like, oh.
I was hoping we'd get some of that, like...
DDT, like, match with Daryl.
Yeah, I was hoping, like, they would do some stuff with Daryl.
The crazy thing is then Hiromu, like, picks Daryl up and does, like, a bunch of, like, spots with Daryl in his hand and, like, fighting Kota Ibushi.
Yeah, so, I mean, this was just really, really good. I mean, like, by this point, like, I have... not so much recollection about the match.
I wonder why.
But it was a good match.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of great spots. We saw the cross slash. I was able to get that on video.
That was awesome. Yeah, we got to see that. The cross slash. That was so dope.
We saw plenty of V triggers. We saw their combo, which was a nasty bump of the Powerbomb German combo on Naito. I
don't think they should be doing that move. I don't think I've ever seen them land it safely like one time.
Yeah.
Every time, for whatever reason, when Ibushi gets the guy, they come in so high angled. There's not enough time to like set. They always land on their neck.
Yeah.
Like every single time. We've only seen a couple like Golden Lover matches, honestly, since they've like got back together where they've done that spot. But every time they've done the spot, it's not looked.
They do it accordions and it just looks nasty. And Naito.
It's not even that it looks nasty. It actually is. Like the way they're falling is not safe.
Yeah.
Whether they're getting injured or not, it's like irrelevant. Like there's no way that they can continue to do that move the way they're doing it. And I mean, someone's gonna get hurt. I don't like it.
And then another nasty looking bump. Takahashi did his sunset flip bomb to the outside to Ibushi.
Man, thank God Ibushi got on his shoulder because the way they fell, that was crazy.
Yeah.
And this match was really good. It went like 22 minutes. It felt like it was only like 10 minutes or something like that. Like it felt like a really short match. I would really like to check out the replay. I haven't watched it yet, but I mean, I thought it was awesome. Naito got his stuff in. Hiromu was doing his crazy stuff. The Golden Lovers were awesome. We got to see V-triggers.
Yeah, see the Dynamite Plunger. See the satellite DDT from Naito.
Yeah, that was awesome. Man,
Yeah.
all these guys were on that night. And then, after Naito ended up getting hit with that giant German, they basically kicked him out of the ring, and he kind of just was...
He was dead.
Yeah, he wasn't moving. And
He sold that thing.
there's people that thought he was legit, maybe hurt, and they actually whether it was real or not, they had people assist him out of the ring. They ended up hitting the Indie Taker on Takahashi, which was interesting because I don't think they've ever done the Indie Taker.
No, yeah.
And then they hit the Golden Trigger on Takahashi for the 1-2-3, and that was it.
Yeah.
Which that was match of the night for me, and I thought it was a very, very good main event. I thought it was well worth the trip to come out there, and I once, aside from all the other complaints, once the show got started, it was really good.
Yeah, it was a great night of wrestling. I really enjoyed it. Like you said, it was worth the drive. It was worth the tickets. We had a great time, and can't wait to see some of these guys live again in September for All In.
Kenny and Jabali cut a promo afterwards talking about next year and coming back for CEO. So we'll see if this is something that continues or not.
Right. Well, he did say this the ring, like we mentioned, was made specifically for CEO, and that they will use it again in the future. So whether it's New Japan or not, they plan on having more wrestling involved.
There's some other show notes. So some other stuff that there's people that were saying that the ring squeaked a lot on the live feed and that it was interrupting the show.
I didn't hear that live.
I didn't hear it live at all. There's other people that were saying that the ring ropes were really wobbly and very loose. And that wasn't something that seemed to be that way for me.
Yeah.
Watching it, I don't know. I guess we'll have to probably check out the live coverage. I haven't heard any of the commentary, although, I understand that the commentators were video game commentators.
Yeah, and from what I've heard, they actually did a pretty good job.
Yeah, for their first time.
Yeah, and what it sounded like they were kind of familiar, they're familiar with the New Japan product a little bit, and so they did a pretty good job covering that.
And one thing I was once I started thinking about it, I was like, we came out to Daytona, and Hiromu was there, and Naito was there, and Kenny and Ibushi, and there was no meet and greet, and we never got a chance to that would have been really cool to meet those guys.
Right.
I mean, to have them all fly in and to be there for the show and then have no opportunity to interact with them kind of sucked.
Yeah.
That's something that if I'd been running the show, I don't know. I think I would have done that differently, and I think I would have had more merch available. Those were as a fan personally, those are my two biggest complaints.
Right. I mean, with that big delay, they should have set up a meet and greet in that hallway.
They could have, yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, that's our review of the CO show.
Yeah.
Overall, very good wrestling, and a show troubled by
controversy
and production issues. So it is what it is.
Yeah. So coming up on Saturday, we have the G1 special in San Francisco, and it's time to give our predictions for all these matches.
Do you want to talk about the UK show, or you want to go straight into G1?
We can. Let's talk about the UK show a little bit, since that happened the same weekend.
Yeah, so there was a 2-night show, Strong Style Evolved UK. Now this is already live on the Rev Pro On Demand streaming service. So if you are a subscriber, you can watch it. We are not subscribers, so we have not seen this show yet. We don't have an official review, but we have the
the
results, and then some of the different notes and things like that.
Yeah.
And the first night took place in Milton Keynes, England, at the Silver Blades. Altintrum. Oh no! Silver Blades was in Manchester. So the first night was at the Planet Ice Arena in Milton Keynes, and from what I'm hearing, these shows are getting really good reviews. So
yeah,
I'm really looking forward to watching these when they come out. I think they're coming out hopefully this week.
I hope so. This will be a perfect week right before G1 Climax starts, because there's going to be a lot of New Japan to watch once the G1 Climax starts.
So the first match of the night was Shota Umino against a mystery opponent who was unannounced, and it ended up being a wrestler by the name of the Great Okan.
Yes, which turned out being Oka.
Yeah.
Young boy Oka.
It's Tomoyuki Oka.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Oka is one of my favorite young boys. He came out, we talked about how he'd been growing a beard. Mm-hmm. And so he has a beard now, and apparently he has a whole gimmick. I haven't seen it, but from the reports, they said, with the walk and the moves he was doing, it seems like it's some sort of, callback to, the Great Kabuki.
Yeah.
Like a Asian foreigner, heel sort of persona. So, I don't know if that's what he will return as, but it seems that for now that he's actually on excursion is what the reports look like. He's actually changed his Twitter profile. And what's his official name? I'll look it up.
Well, what's his Twitter name?
Yeah, he's on excursion. This is it.
Yeah.
He's over there.
So he's going to be in the UK? Yes.
According to his Twitter, that's what it's looking like.
Gotcha.
So he added RevPro as his promotion on his Twitter, and then his name is Dominator Great Okarn. And he's got a whole Asian get up. He wears a question mark mask to the ring with a hat. So yeah, we don't know much about it yet. I haven't seen the gimmick, but it looks like Oka has finally been elevated, so he's on an excursion along with Kawato-san and CMLL. So
that's awesome. Good job, Oka.
And he beat Shota Umino, and it looks like from what it appears, they haven't given an official announcement, but it looks like he's gone.
Yeah, that's interesting. That kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, they hadn't been teasing it or anything. So.
Yeah. Then next up, there was Ishimori teaming up with Yujiro Takahashi to take on Aussie Open, Kyle Fletcher, and Mark Davis. Yep. And Bullet Club got the win here.
Yep, I'm sure that was probably pretty good. Suzuki-gun, 6-man tag, Isuka, Desperado, and Taichi defeated the Team of Chaos, which was Jay White, Toru Yano, and Gato. Kind of surprising to hear that.
Yeah.
I think I would have probably had the team with Jay White go over if that was me.
Well, I think this was the start of what the theme of this whole weekend was, and this was a Suzuki-gun weekend.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Then next up, there was Tiger Mask 4 against David Starr, and Tiger Mask 4 got the win here.
I would definitely not have done that.
Yeah.
Especially since David Starr is their cruiserweight champion.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That just seems kind of crazy to me, but yeah. I'd have to see the match.
And apparently, I guess this was announced as a title match for Starr's British Cruiserweight Championship, but Starr got on the mic before the match and said that a 4th edition of an anime wrestler didn't deserve a shot at his title and made it a non-title match.
That sounds about right. And then the singles match between Walter and Yuji Nagata, which I've got to see that.
Oh, yes, man.
And Walter defeated him, which Walter is actually getting a title shot at the end of the month against Travis Banks in Progress. So, he's doing well here in Rev Pro. He's got a Progress title shot coming up. He's the PWG World Champion. Mm-hmm. He's wrestling in Evolve. This guy's all over the place.
Yeah.
WXW, obviously. So, yeah.
Then Yoshihashi defeated Chris Brooks.
That doesn't sound good to me at all.
Yeah.
Chris Brooks is great. It's Yoshihashi, but I don't know. That seems weird.
Then Will Ospreay defeated Yoshinobu Kanemaru.
Yeah, again, that's a match we just saw last month. So
Best of Super Juniors, yeah.
Okay. And then the main event was the Rev Pro British Tag Team Championship titles. Suzuki-gun, which is Minoru Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr., ZSJ, defeating the team of Okada and Tomohiro Ishii from Chaos. So that's another one where I'm like, well, that makes sense. Because I can't imagine Okada and Ishii defending those belts long term in Rev Pro, but
right.
Yeah, that match sounds awesome. Those 4 guys going at it, that's about on the same level as the main event we got in Long Beach. So that sounds awesome.
Yeah, and it sounds like the finish here was with Ishii was trapped in the orienteering of Napalm Death, while Suzuki had Okada in a sleeper.
Okay.
So,
Night 2, we got the return of the Great Okan, and he defeated Danny Dugan. Not Duggan. Dugan. If you guys have been checking any of the Mid-South stuff on that Mid-South stuff on WWE network is awesome.
Yeah,
man, like I'm starting to be like, now I see why people like always talk about how good Mid-South was. Like, it's good. But they always call Hacksaw Jim Duggan. They call him Dugan,
and they called Jim
Neidhart.
Neidhart.
Like Neidhart. Oh my god, that was so funny. So yeah, and then Yuji Nagata defeated Shota Umino. Go figure.
Surprise. Then Suzuki-gun, Desperado, Kanemaru, and Isuka. Yeah, they took on Chaos again. Geto, Toriano, and Yoshihashi.
That sounds about right that time. Yeah.
Yeah, they won.
Walter just probably killed Yujiro Takahashi, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then we got a match between Taichi and Will Ospreay where Taichi prevailed and beat Will Ospreay. Kind of surprising.
Yeah, Kanemaru interfered, and Taichi got a roll-up win. From what I'm hearing, this was not that great of a match. Yeah. Interesting.
The singles match following that was actually a fatal four-way. David Starr defeated Ishimori, Tiger Mask 4, and El Phantasmo. So
you mean a four-way fatal?
Yeah, four-way fatal.
Johnny Saint on the NXT UK show.
So yeah, I mean that sounds like a really interesting mashup of four different guys. But yeah, David Starr. Was that a title shot?
Yeah,
sure.
This was a Rev Pro British Cruiserweight Championship match.
So that's cool. And then Jay White defeated Kyle Fletcher, singles match.
And Fletcher was actually replacing Chris Brooks here, who was announced as being ill.
Okay. And then that takes us to our double main event, which just looked like fire. We got Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Kazuchika Okada in a rematch from their match at, what was that, from Dontaku?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, their IWGP title match at Dontaku.
After Sabre won the New Japan Cup.
And Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Okada.
Yeah.
And also, Okada came out with new pants on.
Red pants.
He's got red pants. He also came out with the altered version of his theme song. So I haven't got a good look at those pants. I'm sure they're just as like awful as his old pants. But the idea of him having new pants, it just turns my stomach.
Yeah.
I literally don't want him to wear
once
pants.
Again, new pants and he's losing. Took 2 L's this weekend.
Every time he gets a new pair of pants, his power weakens.
Yeah. It's not good. And I'm hearing this match was in the 4.5-star range.
I mean, that's about what their first match was. I'm sure it was really, really good. How did Zack Sabre Jr. tap him out? Is that what happened?
They don't have how he won here.
Wow.
So I'm not sure if it was a tap out win or a pinfall.
I'd be very shocked if he
submitted. Oh, it says say he rolled up Okada.
Okay, that makes more sense.
And pinned him.
I was gonna be like because the only guy that's really like submitted him is Nakamura.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, that I want to see that, and then our main event, Minoru Suzuki taking on Tomohiro Ishii for the Rev Pro British Heavyweight Championship title, the title that we saw Ishii win WrestleMania weekend from Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah. But Suzuki got the win here with a Gotch pile driver and brought the undisputed British Championship back to Suzuki-gun.
Man, that like breaks my heart. Like, I love Suzuki, but man, like I don't want to see Ishii lose his belt. He just got it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that. I mean, he's had it for a while, I guess, but still.
And there are reports saying, this was an amazing match. This was like 4.75.
Wow.
There was multiple standing ovations throughout the match. And the crowd popped huge for the title change.
I'm sure they killed each other.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot wait to see that. So.
And then even more interesting, the post-match, Walter came out, booted Ishii, and then had a stare down with Suzuki.
I know we were talking, and I was kind of thinking that Ishii was going to retain, so I was hoping for an Ishii-Walter match. But, I mean, Suzuki and Walter, oof, that's going to be crazy. That's going to be crazy. And, I mean, yeah, so Walter's got, 2 title opportunities coming up in the near future with Progress and Rev Pro. Like, this guy's got all the belts.
Yeah, he's pretty much taking Zack Sabre Jr.'s spot Because remember last year, Sabre had every belt.
Yeah, he had the PWG belt, the Rev Pro belt, and the Evolve title. I'm wondering if Walter's going to get a more prominent role in Evolve. Maybe they'll put the belt on him as well.
I mean, I think so. I know they know that at any point he could be going to WWE. So give him the full push and get as much money out of him as you can now before he ends up with the machine.
Yeah. So we will be covering those, I guess, a little bit more in depth once we actually watch them.
Yeah.
But let's go to this G1 special in San Francisco. We're only, less than a week away now.
Yeah.
Days away.
Yeah, from this card. So let's run down the card and give our predictions. We'll start from the bottom and work our way to the top.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
So things started off. Tonight's gonna start off with the Chaos team of Yoshihashi, Gedo, Rocky Romero, Sho, and Yo taking on the Bullet Club team of Haku, Tamatonga, Tangaloa, Yujiro Takahashi, and Chase Owens.
Bullet Club's winning.
Yeah.
There's no way they're going to lose. They got King Haku on their team.
Yeah.
It's the scariest man in wrestling.
Yeah, they're bringing Haku out. Bull Club's definitely going over.
You think Yoshihashi can beat freaking King Haku?
No.
Gato? Rocky Romero?
Sure.
Roppongi 3K? No. Putting just those 5 members against King Haku, I'm going to take King Haku. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Literally, I think the IWGP needs to get involved with this match, and we need to see who even sanctioned this, because I wouldn't even take this Chaos team against King Haku if he was by himself. So it's kind of unfair that it's him and God and Takahashi and Owens. That's a dream team right there, buddy.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going Bullet Club also, and you got King Haku out there. He's definitely not. You're not gonna bring Haku out and have him take a L here.
If Bullet Club loses, I'm gonna start wondering if this is even real, because there's no way that in a competitive fair fight that Bullet Club could lose this match. They got King Haku.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I am wondering though. In all seriousness, it's been a few years since we've seen King Haku wrestle, and the last time I saw him was in that Rambo. And I'm he wasn't moving around that well then, and it's been 3 or 4 years later. I'm wondering, what kind of condition he's in. Yeah. So we'll see.
Well, he's taking other bookings. We're going to see him here against Gangrel in August.
That sounds awful. Sounds really, really bad. That's the cigar show in August?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, our good friend PSG's on that show.
Yeah.
What's up, bud? I know you're listening.
Next up is going to be Tomohiro Ishii and Toru Yano against Minoru Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, this should be very, very good. I think this is the 3rd time that these 2 teams have wrestled this year. And every single time Ishii and Toru Yano are they're 2 of the best. They're one of the best tag teams. This consistently match quality wise. Every single night, they're one of the best tag teams in New Japan, even though they're utility guys and gatekeepers. And all the matches they've had with Suzuki and Sabre have been great, specifically the stuff with, Ishii and Suzuki, obviously.
Yeah. I definitely think Suzuki and Sabre are going to get the win here.
Oh, me too.
Continue to ride the momentum of the Suzuki-gun guys. And these are definitely 2 guys you want looking strong going into G1.
Yeah, this is not really looking like a great night for Chaos. But we could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot of the time. Yeah,
we'll see. Next up, we got Hiroshi Tanahashi and Kushida against Hangman Page and Marty Scurll.
This is a match that I didn't even realize was happening. Literally, this is the first. When you just said it, that's the first time I even heard that this match was happening. So that's interesting to me.
So I'm going with the Bullet Club team here of Hangman Page and Marty Scurll. I feel like they've built up some momentum with Scurll beating the Legends at Dominion, and with Hangman Page's first G1 coming up, I have a feeling they're going to want to make him look strong going into the G1 climax. So I'm going Bullet Club here.
Yeah, and that kind of makes sense, and I've said it before that Tanahashi is the king of losing tag matches where he's protected and his partner takes the fall, and that could definitely happen. I'm sure you're not implying that Tanahashi's jobbing on this night.
No.
Obviously.
Right.
But I'm going to go with Tanahashi and Kushida just because G1's around the corner. You could try to make Hangman look strong here, but I think the story will be mostly about Tanahashi and Hangman, and I think Tanahashi's going to pick up the win. If he picks up the win over Marty, LOL, Junior, it's New Japan.
Right.
Also, I could see Hangman taking that loss easily as well. So, I'm going to go with Taguchi Japan.
Yeah. And side note, Tanahashi and Hangman Page, they wrestled on the Ring of Honor UK tour that happened a couple weeks ago. It was a pretty good match. It's up on New Japan World on the English content section. Check that match out. Tanahashi beat Hangman Page.
I was going to say, who won that match? When was that? That's when I was at the gym?
Yeah, you were getting your pump on.
I was in there clanging and banging, baby.
So next up, we have the never openweight champion.
I was actually just struggling.
Oh man, don't put yourself out there, man. So never openweight champion Hiroki Goto defending against Jeff Cobb. Yes, this is going to be a strong style match right here. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Goto. He just got the title back, and if he were to lose it here, not only the fact that Jeff Cobb isn't signed actively, but also the fact that that would kind of hotshot the title around, and I'm not a big fan of that. With that being said, I still am perplexed why they even put the title back on Goto.
Yeah, I don't understand that. He should have just won at Dominion.
Yeah, if that's what they were going to do. But, I don't know. So that's what they decided to do. I'm not really looking forward to the outcome of the match so much. I'm hoping Goto does lose the title in the near future to somebody that maybe does a better job carrying it, because this hasn't been a great year run for him. But with that being said, I am looking forward to the fireworks in this match. I think it's going to be a really, 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 really good match. Jeff Cobb is a guy that I think Goto will like to hang in there with, and he usually will work up to the level of the guys he's wrestling as opposed to the opposite way. Although I will say this, I don't know. Have you seen a lot of Jeff Cobb's single stuff?
Yeah.
He's not a guy that, he's very impressive, but he's not someone who's, when I watch his matches, where I'm, blown away. He does cool stuff.
Yeah.
And he's a great talent, but I'm never Jeff Cobb. That Jeff Cobb match was a classic.
Yeah.
Kind of he kind of reminds me he's the strong style Flip Gordon. Two guys who are
do
both
cool stuff,
very impressive. They do great stuff. I'm fans of their work, but ultimately it's not I see them as main event level talent.
Right. But I agree with you. I'm going with Goto here. Jeff Cobb is not signed full time with New Japan, and I just don't see them putting the never title on somebody like Jeff Cobb right now.
Jeff Cobb's cool. I like Jeff Cobb better in tag teams.
Yeah,
I think his talents are more lended there.
What do you think about him as Matanza?
I loved Matanza Cueto, but that's an edited television show that they cut up and all sorts of stuff, Plus, I feel like he's way more interesting as Matanza Cueto, personally speaking, because there's a backstory, there's a whole storyline. Jeff Cobb comes in and he's just cool.
Yeah.
He's Jeff Cobb. He's cool.
He's a bro.
He's a bro. There's not much going. What's his motivation? Why does he want to be the never champion? What? Because he beat up Elgin, the dude who was talking crap about you earlier this year. I don't understand it. But yeah, I mean, I hope Jeff Cobb gets better. I think he's got a lot of upside and a lot of talent, and this match will be good.
Next up, we have the IWGP Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks, defending against the LIJ team of Evil and Sonata. Who you got here, young boy?
If it's anything like the match they had at Dominion, then this is going to be fantastic. Unfortunately, I don't know if it will be. It's, fifth on the card. I'm going to take the Young Bucks. But wouldn't that be the most New Japan thing ever if they
lost?
If they put the belts right back on LIJ?
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Evil and Sonata got the belt back, but
me either. I mean, the Young Bucks couldn't even beat the Briscoes the other night. So.
But being a Young Bucks mark, I feel like there's a lot of momentum behind these guys right now, especially going into All In. So I'm going with Young Bucks also.
Yeah, the Young Bucks have had a great year, but as far as booking in New Japan, it's been kind of interesting. A lot of times when I think they're going to win, they don't. A lot of times when I think they are going to win, they do. So it'll be interesting. I hope that they do retain. I've never been a big fan of like the hot shotting titles.
Right, me either. I like good lengthy title reigns.
Plus, Evil and Sonata like had a lengthy title run, and they only defended it twice. And the second time was when they lost it. So
yeah,
I hope the Bucks hold on to the belts here, and I think this will be a good match.
Next up, we have Kazuchika Okada teaming up with Will Ospreay to take on Tetsuya Naito and Bushi. To me, this is a tough call. To me, this has Bushi taking the pinfall written all over it.
Yeah, that makes the most sense. Okada and Naito are two guys who both have recently lost their belts. They have a lot of history. Also Ospreay has lost his belt recently as well. So, and Bushi is the guy that beat him during the
Best of Super Juniors.
So, a lot of interweaving storylines here. Three former champions who are looking for redemption. That's why I feel like it's kind of a crossroads match if you think of it in that context. A little tough for me to call. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Chaos. And I feel like, Bushi taking the pinfall makes the most sense to me as well.
Or the submission to the Billion Yen Dream.
Yeah. They really need to change the name. They need to change that move. They need to name that move the Billion Yen Dream.
Come on, Ghetto. I know you're listening.
If we would have got to talk to Rocky, I would have definitely pitched that idea. I feel like we could make some money off of it. We copyright the name, sell it to them.
Make some cash.
Yeah.
Get some yen off the deal.
But this will probably be like pretty good. I don't really like Bushi.
Yeah.
Like it's becoming more and more apparent. Like I'm not a fan of Bushi.
Yeah.
There are people on the internet that love Bushi, but
I love his mask and his suits.
I just don't think he's that good of a wrestler.
Yeah.
Period. But with that being said, he has his place and he has his role, and I think Okada is going to choke him out probably.
Yeah. Next up, we have the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Hiromu Takahashi defending against Dragon Lee.
Yeah, so these two guys have wrestled once for this title in the past, last year. But this feels like, I don't know, just like with the recent match that they just had at the Best of Super Juniors, the run that Hiromu's been on, plus all the history. And, them doing it on a big show like this feels like the biggest match that they've ever had.
Yeah.
And so I'm expecting them to pull out all the stops. If you notice, Hiromu's like third down from the top underneath Jay White and Juice, and I feel like him and Dragon Lee have a point to prove.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who I'm taking. I'm going to take Hiromu.
Yeah. I'm taking Hiromu just because I feel like they're doing a redemption story similar to what they did with Ospreay. Like, Hiromu's gotten the belt, he's starting to beat all these people that beat him. So first of all, he beat Ospreay, and then
Desperado.
He beat Desperado. So Dragon Lee's another guy that he loses to a lot.
Dragon Lee is a guy who more often than not has his number, although he beat Dragon Lee last year when he defended the belt, but then he lost at the G1 or at the
Best of Super Juniors.
Best of Super Juniors 2 years in a row now. So, yeah, these guys they put on fantastic matches. Like, I think that this has match of the night written all over it.
Yeah, dude, these guys are gonna kill each other. Like, I pray that they leave this match safely.
Looking at this card is great. This card's great. It's a little more spread out than, say, Dominion, but if you're being objective, like, this is one of the best cards that New Japan has put on it. It doesn't have the sexiness to it, like that whole cachet appeal of, like, a Dominion or like a, Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
But quality-wise, this has all the potential in the world. This match looks great. I mean, this card looks great. And, yeah, I'm going to go with Hiromu, but if Dragon Lee beat him, I wouldn't be that surprised. With the continuity of like storytelling from outside companies, things like that. Plus, like the IWGP Junior title is one that they've put on international stars many times in the past. So they're more like liable to do that with this belt than say like the heavyweight belt. They could put on Dragon Lee and have him turn around and drop it. Yeah. I mean, G1's coming up. There's not going to be that many title defenses in the meantime anyways till, for a while. Kind of like what they did with Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
But I am going to go with Hiromu.
All right.
That's what and I think that this will most likely be match of the night. I'm very excited for it.
Next up, the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship match. Jay White defending against Juice Robinson. Who you got?
Juice. Yeah, I'm going with Juice Robinson for the big title change on this card.
All right. I don't know why, but I just have this bad feeling in my stomach, and I feel like Jay White's winning this match. I don't want him to win this match. I want Juice to win and get the U.S. title. But something tells me that Jay White's going to prevail here and, use that momentum for his match against Okada in the G1.
Yeah, I mean, that could probably be true. But I'm also like, I don't know. We're in the U.S. It's the United States title. Jay White's been holding this belt since, February?
Yeah.
It's a long time. Juice got a lot of momentum. I feel like it's time. It's the right card.
Yes, I think it's the right time, the right card. But in the past, we've said that several times with Juice Robinson, it's the right time, and they have yet to pull the trigger.
Oh, they're doing it. They're shooting, baby.
Well, I hope so. I want them to, but I don't know. I just have this bad feeling that Jay White's going to win.
Yeah, I think Jay White, Juice Robinson is going to be really good. I see a Pulp Friction, 1, 2, 3, new champion.
I hope so. I hope you're right.
Yeah.
This is one time where I want to be wrong. Then we got our main event. The IWGP Heavyweight Champion, Kenny Omega, defending against the American Nightmare, Cody. And we got the continuation of this Bullet Club feud. This seems like this is going to be the blow-off. The winner here is not going to only be the IWGP champion, but they're going to be the rightful leader of the Bullet Club.
Apparently,
yeah.
So, I mean, this is a match where, like, I'm going to go with Kenny Omega because that's what's probably going to happen, right? I mean, I couldn't see him losing the IWGP title to Cody Rhodes right before the G1.
Yeah, I can't see that either, especially with Cody not even being in the G1. I'm definitely going Omega here.
Although last year I had a theory that Okada, as crazy as it sounds at the time, my theory was that Okada was going to lose the title to Cody right after Dominion, where Cody tried to screw like Kenny.
Yeah.
And then he wins the belt, and then he can carry it into like King of Pro Wrestling and like lose it basically after that, if that made sense.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could do that. I mean, how crazy would that be?
Dude, that would be very crazy.
Like Cody wins the belt. The champion's not in the G1, so you don't have to worry about like Cody like headlining with the belt. All you have to do is just wait till King of Pro Wrestling
and beat him.
Yeah.
But
I don't think that's likely though.
Yeah, I think Omega's going into this thing with the title, going to the G1 climax with the title. I can't see him. I can't see Cody pulling out the win here.
I hope my hope here is that whatever it is, like they kind of wrap up this storyline that's been going on for, what is it, 6-7 months now?
Yeah.
I don't know what they've had in mind as far as booking and their thoughts and stuff, but I hope that this match is good. I hope it's better than the Cody and Kenny match from
Super Card of Honor.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's better than that, and I'm excited. I'm excited. I want to see them wrestle again. I don't know what to expect, but I think Kenny's retaining his belt in the U.S., and I think it's going to be a success.
Yeah. So from top to bottom, this should be a very great show. We're looking forward to watching it on Saturday. And
UFC's that night too.
Yeah,
I'm excited. Man, UFC looks really good that night. So this is gonna be a really, really, really good night for entertaining wrestling, whatever.
Yeah. And let's jump into the news. And since we just got done talking about this show, let's talk about some of the news that are revolving around this show. Or do you have something else?
What news around this show?
Like the tickets.
Oh,
and,
gotcha.
The length of the show.
Well, you didn't want to talk about the wrestler of the month and the match of the month?
Oh, yeah. We got to do that too. Yeah, totally forgot about that.
June's over.
Yeah, June is over.
We're halfway through the year.
Yeah, we're halfway through the year. It's time to name the wrestler of the month for June. And the match of the month. The match of the month was a no-brainer. Okada versus Omega. The 7-star match is the June match of the month. I don't think there's any match that you could say that came close to how great that match was. Yeah,
absolutely. I agree. That's all I got to say about that. We've talked about it in depth, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things we always ask each other, like, what do you think is the match of the month? And, like, we didn't even have to really ask each other. It was just one of those things, like, we're doing Omega Okada, right? Like, obviously.
Yeah.
But where we did have trouble was naming the wrestler of the month for June. And it kind of came down between three people. Hiromu Takahashi, Kazuchika Okada, and Kenny Omega. And I think the thinking here is, Kenny and Okada, they just had this epic 7-star match. It was amazing.
They put on basically what many people are calling the greatest match in the history of the sport. So yeah. That's a accomplishment you can't really overlook.
But then you gotta look at Hiromu Takahashi. This guy has worked a lot of dates this month and has picked up some big victories.
For me, I'm just gonna cut it short. It's real simple. I have to go Hiromu Takahashi for the wrestler of the month. That might seem a little bit shocking, and I was torn about it for a while, thinking, I was probably leaning towards Kenny just because Kenny finally accomplished his goal of winning the IWGP title and, beating Okada. We talked to Rich about this, and he's like, well, you can go Kenny because he had 3 matches.
Yeah. We had a little debate on the road trip there about this. James Boyd was leaning on the Hiromu side. Yeah, and yeah, I'm definitely Hiromu. I mean, think about it, man. He had a match with Kushida. It was awesome. He had a match, the finals against Ishimori. He won the Best of Super Juniors. That Ishimori match was rated 5.5. Then he had the match with Ospreay at Dominion. Then he had the match with Desperado.
Yep. Which is a guy that he never beat in a singles match before. Tons of history between them. Successfully defends the IWGP Junior title. He also had that match on television with LIJ taking on the Super Strong Machines. Tons of fun.
And then obviously we saw him this weekend here in Daytona.
Yeah.
This guy's been traveling all over the place, and
based on the fact that he had 4 matches that are all above 4 stars. Actually, if you want to count that tag team match, about 5 matches above 4 stars. But not even just that, but like from a kayfabe perspective, he won the Best of Super Juniors. He won the junior title. He defeated 3 of the guys that he's had tons of trouble putting away in the past. And then is still having continued success. Like, I don't think you can really go with anybody else other than him. Plus, he stopped the freight train that is Ishimori.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think if you're being objective and you're just being an honest fan, you have to go with Hiromu Takahashi. That's the right answer.
Yeah.
And that's 2 months in a row. That's May and June.
So shout out to Hiromu Takahashi.
He's been killing it like ever since the Best Super Junior started.
All right, now's the time for jumping to the news.
Yeah. So you had some notes about the Cow Palace and what was going on with this show.
Yeah. So this is coming from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Check those guys out. But so the Cow Palace show, it's listed for 4.5 hours live on Access after the 8-hour Bullet Club marathon that starts at noon. That wraps around by the Young Bucks and Cody. There hasn't been a big movement in ticket sales on the secondary market. And about this point, there's a little over 5,000 tickets sold at this point.
Well, that was like earlier in the month. When was...
This is from last week's Observer.
That's what Observer was saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know how accurate that is necessarily because when I went to go look on the website, there's about 2,500 tickets still for sale.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if there's like... I know earlier in the month we talked about how there was some seats that were just reserved.
For the New Japan Club?
Yeah, and they might not be on sale. So I don't know if that's factoring into it or not.
Right.
But, I mean... If you did do the simple math, you take 2,500 away from the 10K that they're supposed to be running, it leaves you with about 7,500 occupied seats. Right. I don't think they're holding off, that many. So I would assume that they're somewhere in between 5 and 7, basically, based on what they have available on the website.
Right. But they say, however, almost all the tickets that have been sold are the most expensive, so it's likely already going to be the largest gate in the history of the building.
Yeah, I think it's even with them not selling out, this is going to be a success financially for New Japan, which is great news. And the fact that they've sold out most of the expensive seats means that when you watch it on television, like the seats that are close front and center, those are the ones that are going to be prominently seen.
Yeah. And one of the readers of The Observer, who regularly goes to Japantown in San Francisco, said there's been no advertising or publicity anywhere except for one poster at a supermarket, which lists no matches and only 4 names: Okada, Omega, Tanahashi, and Naito. They've seen nothing anywhere. Yeah. There's no local awareness of the event from anyone outside the hardcore wrestling fan base.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's not going to sell out. Like, that's probably what we're looking at.
Yeah, but it's still going to be a good crowd. I think on TV it's going to look pretty full.
Yeah, you want to talk about lessons that we learned from the CEO show. I think there's a lot of lessons that they've learned from the marketing of this show. What to do for the future, what not to do. Hopefully they take heed of that, because if they continue the way that they've been going with this, with the marketing and things like that, like it's not going to work out for them to expand into this country. It's just not.
And I honestly, I don't think they should come back to the U.S. this year, but it sounds like they are.
Yeah. So
according to Will Ospreay.
Yeah. So Will Ospreay was doing an interview earlier this week, and he talked about how he wouldn't be able to work a show in the UK. I think it was for RevPro, because he's going Progress, because there's going to be a New Japan show in Los Angeles on September 30th. This has not been confirmed or announced by New Japan, but man, if I was New Japan and Will Ospreay is out there breaking the news about a show that I was running in September like this, I would not be happy.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if I'd be running, if I was New Japan, I don't know if I'd be running a show in LA in September.
Yeah, it feels fast to be coming back to California, and this is going to be less than a month after All In, and you're going to have some New Japan guys traveling on that show as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about before that, this is a company that's relying on flying, fans for their shows, and then, we turn around and they're running a show in September, right, less than a month after All In. It doesn't seem to be a good idea.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Access is going to be running a marathon though, for like from the day before all the way up until the actual G1 special in San Francisco starts. So that's going to be cool if you're if you have Access Television. You'll get your New Japan fix. And any other news on the show?
No, that's wraps up all the stuff I had.
Okay. So other show news this past weekend, Ring of Honor Best in the World occurred.
Yeah.
We'll just kind of run through the results. So the Kingdom defeated Evil, Bushi, and Sonata for this. They defended their 6-man tag team titles. Decent match. We watched this show. It was all right. Flip Gordon and Bully Ray, they did their thing. Flip Gordon won via DQ. They did a whole schmaz, angle afterwards. Looks like they're running into a Bully Ray and Colt Cabana feud following out of that.
Yeah.
They ran a 8-woman tag match with Sumi Sakai, Jenny Rose, Maya Iwatani, and Tennille Dashwood taking on Kelly Klein, Hazuki Kagatsu, and Hana Kimura. They kind of teased the whole deal with having like the Women of Honor champion going up against the
Stardom champ, yeah,
the World of Stardom. So that was interesting. The faces won in this case, so cool match there. Austin Aries defeated Kenny King in a match that they've been building to for a while. There's no titles on the line there. Jay Lethal and Kushida was very good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this Jay Lethal Kushida match, and they've been on this Jay Lethal Redemption tour where he's been beating everybody that has beaten him in the past, and Kushida was like the last guy he needed to beat to get in contention for a Ring of Honor title shot.
Yes, they've kind of been quietly just like raising Jay Lethal up the ranks, not really acknowledging it too much on television, but that's what they've been doing pay-per-view after pay-per-view. After that, they did Punishment Martinez and Adam Page. This match was a Baltimore Street fight for the television title. Punishment Martinez ended up retaining. This was a very violent match.
Oh, yeah. I mean, had thumbtacks, tables, a lot of crazy spots and bumps. That choke slam that Punishment did to Hangman Page on the outside. He was trying to choke slam him onto like the railing, but he just like hit the concrete pretty much.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
The Briscoes ended up taking on the Young Bucks to defend their Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. The IWGP Heavyweight Tag titles were not on the line here. This was, by most reports, the match of the night. A great tag team competition between these two teams, and the Briscoes ended up retaining.
Yeah, with the... I think it's a redneck boogie they call it. It's like a avalanche splash neckbreaker combo thing off the top rope.
Yeah, so great match. These guys always put on great matches with one another. And then in the main event, it was the three-way match between Cody and
Marty Scurll
and Dalton Castle, who's the champion. And man, Dalton came out and he's just so banged up, and this was a match where like they'd been building to it for a while, and it seemed like the whole idea of this match was supposed to be essentially that it seemed like it was set for Cody to win the world title.
Yeah, it did. I mean, like you mentioned, Marty was so banged. I mean, not Marty. Dalton so banged up, and I mean, he just really couldn't do much in this match. I mean, the best thing about Dalton Castle is his power moves and his throws, and he couldn't really do any of that.
Yeah.
He did very little in this match, and so you would think that they would put the belt on either Cody or Marty, but however, they ended up keeping the title on Dalton Castle.
Yeah, and so that was something where like, with the booking of All In and them kind of teasing that essentially that Cody needed to win the belt in order to get his shot at the NWA belt at All In. That was something that was alluded to, and that kind of made you think like, well, it's a foregone conclusion. Dalton Castle's hurt. Cody's the biggest star. He needs it for All In.
Right.
Made a lot of sense for them to do that, I suppose. Now it's kind of like, well, I don't know where they're going with the booking as far as that's concerned.
Right.
And then it was made even more complicated by...
Then the next night, they're in Fairfax, and they're doing their TV tapings, and then all of a sudden on social media, on Twitter, Ring of Honor's like, tune into Honor Club tonight. We're going to be airing a Four Corner Survival World Title match with Dalton defending against Jay Lethal, Cody, and Matt Taven. And lo and behold, Jay Lethal pins Dalton Castle in this Four Corner Survival and becomes the new champion.
Yeah, very, 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 very strange booking. I don't know. Ring of Honor's kind of had a tough year as it is, and this is another decision that just kind of left me scratching my head. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of Jay Lethal. I have been for a while, and I think if there was someone that needed to take the belt off of Dalton, he's a great candidate, and I think he is the right guy to go with. But the way they did this just made me think like, this is not good booking.
Yeah.
Like, you have Jay Lethal going on this redemption tale. you're basically, making it a key part of each pay-per-view, and then you have him win the belt with, it's not a singles match, it's a multi-man match. So, I mean, it leaves some doubt to, the claim of him being the champion to begin with, and you do it on a, basically what would basically amount to like being like a house show that just happens to be televised.
Yeah. And I guess, I mean, the one thing that could be said to defend this booking on the on the TV tapings and airing in an Honor Club, it's kind of a way to get people to sign up for Honor Club and give like something to the Honor Club members, and like, hey, give them that idea of like anything could happen on a TV taping, on a house show, on a pay-per-view. So you want to be subscribed to Honor Club and watch all of our shows. You never know when a title's going to change.
This is actually a television taping.
Yeah.
So it's going to air on Ring of Honor TV.
Yeah.
That kind of makes a little bit more sense. It does feel like it's one of those WWF mid-90s like title changes where it's like, anything can happen.
Anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation.
It just seems like you're leaving money on the table. It didn't seem the right way to do this. I don't know. Like, for me, like, it doesn't make me want to tune into Ring of Honor. It makes me be like, you guys didn't handle this well. Why would I watch your television?
Yeah.
Why would I watch your Honor Club? Because this isn't compelling the way that you did this. This seems like this is C-League. This is Smodge Podge. You threw it together. I'm not a big fan of it, and I don't think it's the way to handle a guy like Jay Lethal, who seemed lost without the title, which I've been like, how do you guys mishandle Jay Lethal? He's one of the most talented guys you have in your company. You finally put the belt back on him. This is not the way you do it.
This should have been,
doesn't get him over.
This should have been a pay-per-view main event when he finally won the belt back.
Yeah, and they should have done it in a way where, like, if they're gonna do it, it should be a featured match that people want to pay to see that draws money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not rocket science. Like, I understand like booking can be difficult, but I don't know. You don't just throw it on the guy like the night after the pay-per-view.
Right. And something I mentioned to you yesterday, I just think to go along with Ring of Honor's booking, I think, a lot of their thing, like their shows, the Young Bucks have the best match every card they're on. Even TV tapings, pay-per-views, house shows, the Young Bucks have the best matches of the night. And they're rarely in the main event of Ring of Honor shows. Like, there's no match that's topping them. Like, they should be the World Tag Champs in the main event, like main eventing shows, until you can get a world champion that could have a high level title match as Young Bucks.
Yeah, so I think what you're saying is if they're your top stars, they're drawing the most money, the most doing the most business, why don't you highlight them as your top guys?
Yeah.
At the top of the card, which, I mean, that makes sense. I think it is tough in America. There haven't been too many companies where like the tag team titles headline, that was kind of like a Georgia sort of thing right at one point. But I mean, why not? Why not go with the Young Bucks at the top of the card?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would do even more business for them. But hey, I'm not delirious. I don't have the book.
So I think that will bring us to the news.
Yep.
So a couple different things. So earlier this week, the WWE Twitter officially followed both the Young Bucks Twitters, which is kind of a, there's been a lot of speculation about, what's going to happen once their contracts are up. And I think that kind of tells you exactly where WWE stands on the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
So very interesting there. Also, WWE was in New Japan this past week. Couple things with that. So Makabe tweeted out earlier this week that both members of the club, which would be Luke Gallows
and Carl Anderson,
as well as Tyson Kidd, they made a visit to the dojo. So, two former guys from New Japan, and everyone knows Tyson Kidd. That was really cool. They got to kind of like check out the dojo, see what was going on there, and meet up with Makabe. Also, I saw photos of Almas kind of paying tribute to LIJ.
Yeah, doing the Tranquilo. Him and Zelina Vega did the Tranquilo pose. He also
popped the crowd.
Hit the Destino. I believe it was on Ty Dillinger he was going against.
I don't know who he did it to, but I saw him hit the Destino. That was really cool. Aside from that, also AJ was on the card wrestling, and he got to break out the mask that he used to wear in Japan, which I guess he did that when they were on tour last year. So real cool. One notable glaring omission was Shinsuke Nakamura, and the reason that he was on the tour, but he was unable to compete, and it was because he got bit by a police dog earlier this week.
Yeah. So at the SmackDown tapings, they had like a bomb dog coming around the building, sniffing around, checking for bombs and other stuff, and Nakamura was just there chilling, and the dog bit Nakamura in the leg, and it was serious enough that he had to get hospitalized, and they had to cancel the match with Jeff Hardy on SmackDown. It ended up being Jeff Hardy and Eric Young, and then so he hasn't been cleared to wrestle since then.
Yeah.
And so he came out and did promos on these shows and apologized for not being able to wrestle.
I did see that him and Tanahashi got to meet up in Taiwan earlier this week.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But, WWE was doing a tour of New Japan, or doing a tour of Japan. So that's, that's interesting. In other news, so the Fire Pro Wrestling cover was, basically released this past week, and it has Okada, Omega, Tanahashi, and Naito right on the cover, the big four. Mm-hmm. Real cool. I think I definitely need to get this game when it comes out.
And also, there was a great commercial that they showed during the CEO show.
Oh, yeah.
For the game.
With Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny is like playing against... Kenny's playing the game. He's playing as himself against Toru Yano. And he's getting like beat up in the game, and he like tags in Kota Ibushi, and it turns into like a tag match. It's a funny commercial. I think it's good stuff. I think it's on YouTube now.
Yeah, Kenny was talking quite a bit this past couple weeks about doing more like commercials and things like that. So, good for him that he got to do that. Also, speaking of Shinsuke Nakamura, he also did a interview with Wrestle Inc. earlier this week. And he kind of revealed some of the information about why he left New Japan to go to WWE. And he said, in Japan, I thought I accomplished everything, so I wanted to try other things. And, in 2015, he thought to himself, what should I do next? And at the time, his friends who were working in WWE called him and said, it's probably time to challenge himself, see what's next. So he decided to join them. And he said that he literally did not know hardly anything about WWE history before he went to the company. He knew that, Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan had wrestled there because they're from Japan.
Yeah.
But that was about it. He said he'd never seen WWE. You had to basically have a lot of money to go watch videos of them in Japan, and he didn't do that. So he didn't know anything about WWE.
That's crazy.
He also said he didn't do any research about them before he signed because he wanted to feel the element of surprise regarding how the company was once he got there.
Oh, well, he got a surprise, all right.
He did say that since joining WWE, he stated that he's been surprised at what he witnessed, mainly because he's used to the style of New Japan and the Indies and doing a lot of dangerous moves. And he says instead, WWE just tries very hard to keep things simple, and it's much different than any other company in the world.
It's different, all right.
Yeah. So, if you get a chance, you definitely want to check out that interview with Nakamura. Real eye-opening stuff. I hope he comes back to Japan, but we'll see. Getting into the New Japan news side of things. So, if you didn't notice, Kenny has officially dyed his hair back to the classic black and gray as opposed to the bright baby face, blonde. Mm-hmm. Turns out from reports, the only reason he was blonde like that was to do the Cody
Street Fighter
commercial.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and speaking of that, I actually watched the full video from the E3 battle between New Day and the Elite. It's very entertaining. You guys can check that out. It's up on YouTube.
Nice. New Japan Pro Wrestling released a mobile beta version. I think they have taken it down now, so if you missed out on it, you won't get to play it, but they released a beta version of their upcoming mobile title called King of Pro Wrestling, and a lot of people seem to really enjoy it, and it's supposed to be getting released later this year. So, yeah, if you have a mobile, obviously you probably have a phone, but iOS, Android, you'll be able to get to play New Japan on your phone coming up this following year, which is really cool.
Another distraction at work.
Yeah. Omega also, I think we talked about the Q&A he did with Fansided last week when he made the comments.
Yeah.
Earlier this week, Will Ospreay released his, he started his own wrestling promotion. It's called Frontline Wrestling. The tagline of his wrestling promotion is called British Puroresu. And so it's supposed to be like a British take on, I guess, Strong Style.
Yeah.
And he owns and operates this promotion. And on the card that they debuted this past week, he had Kino from Noah fame as the headliner, which is very interesting. So, if you want, check that out. Frontline Wrestling. It's owned by Will Ospreay. He's a real cool guy. Chris Jericho was also on X-Pac's podcast earlier this week. I heard a lot of good things about that.
Yeah, I did catch that interview. Also on that episode, Rocky Romero was also on that episode too.
What did they talk about?
So with Rocky, they were just kind of talking about like Roppongi 3K and whether he's kind of like semi-retired and it's kind of his role right now. And then Jericho came on and they were talking about just kind of like what he's doing right now and like this whole thing of being the Intercontinental Champion and working in New Japan and working against Naito, and just he wanted to make sure that his match was like different than anything else on the card. People said that he wouldn't be able to top Omega and Okada in a wrestling match. And he's like, all right, I'm not going to have a wrestling match. Like, I'm going to have this wild, crazy brawl.
Yep, that's brilliant.
So yeah, that's good stuff. That's on the X-Pac 12360 podcast.
Adam Cole was also interviewed earlier this week talking about the Young Bucks, whether they'd be coming to WWE, and also like what's his take on their success outside and that sort of thing. So definitely want to check that out.
I think it's amazing that the ghost of Adam Cole has been able to be so successful.
Kenny Omega was also on the Ross Report earlier this week. I didn't get a chance to
catch that. JR's podcast has kind of fell off my rotation.
Maybe it might need to come back on the rotation with Kenny Omega on it though.
Yeah.
So Suzuki had some statements earlier this week talking about his 30-year anniversary, and it sounds like he's ready for an IWGP title run.
Yeah, let me see. I've had some. So yeah, this was at the Pirate Festival. So after the draw with Okada, Suzuki grabbed the mic and he told the young kids in the front row, it doesn't matter that I was close or that I did my best, I didn't win. When you go out into the real world, you have to win and keep winning. The world isn't going to give you a break. And then he officially pushed for an IWGP title run. He said, all you dispirited middle-aged guys, I just turned 50 and a 30-year-old who's the best couldn't beat me today. Nobody can. The IWGP title? I've already booked my time and place.
Wow. So, yeah, it looks like Suzuki's ready for a title run, which I'm all for that. Beyond that as well, there's kind of interesting news. So we talked about the fact that Hideo Itami would be wrestling for Noah later in the year, and it looks like he is going to it's confirmed now he's going to be wrestling Marufuji.
Right, the anniversary show for Marufuji, right?
Yeah, so now Michi Marufuji and Hideo Itami, those guys have ton of history. They used to be tag team partners, so I'm assuming that match will probably be great. So, want to definitely check that out. Cody Rhodes actually had comments earlier this week about the match with Omega. That's coming up with the G1 special, and the main takeaway that I took was that he said that people are going to be stunned at how good this match is, basically.
Well, I hope so. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
Got some big boots to fill, Cody.
Dave Meltzer was recently questioned about Matt Riddle and why, what's the deal with him not coming to WWE in New Japan. And he said it basically has to do with the weed, essentially. Yeah. And he said, on the New Japan side of things, if he wasn't smoking weed and it wasn't like a public thing, like he'd probably be like the number 2 or number 3 gaijin in the company right now.
Yeah.
So that's something I hope we see in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Riddle is so talented. He definitely deserves for his skills to be displayed on a bigger stage.
Some other indie stuff. So Joey Janela, who we went to his spring break show over WrestleMania weekend, he's running another show later this year called Joey Janela Lost in New York, brought by Game Changing Wrestling. And he will be wrestling, they announced earlier this week, he's wrestling Hakushi.
Yeah.
Jinsei Shinzaki. So, I mean, this is a guy who's been all over the Japanese indies. He's wrestled in New Japan before. And, obviously WWF fame. And, I mean, this is a match that I really want to see.
Yeah, and I mean, the hype video they did with it was incredible. Like, you brought it to our attention.
Yeah, it's
and
awesome.
Joey Janela is a guy just so creative with his marketing and advertising for these shows he puts on and bringing in these unique characters. So I'm also really looking forward to this matchup here.
Don Callis did an interview earlier this week talking about Impact, and they asked him about bringing in the Elite, specifically Kenny Omega, and he essentially said, there was a time where he didn't think something like that could ever happen, but with the way that the wrestling landscape has been, with Impact and Ring of Honor being on a cruise, working shows together, and all the different ties that have kind of been, forged this past year, he's like, it's really something that could happen, hypothetically speaking. He's like, they got Ishimori coming up for Slammiversary. He's like, you always say never, but this is something that really
could happen in the
future.
And this is something we speculated about earlier on in the year.
I think you speculated a little more than I did. I kind of thought it was ridiculous sounding, but with the way wrestling's been in 2018, I'm like, that could happen.
Yeah.
So you never know. What's Kenny Omega doing in the Impact Zone? I literally, in our group thread, I was joking about that, though, because shout out to Caleb. He loves Impact. None of us watch it. And, and I was like, what is Kenny Omega doing in the Impact Zone? I was like, no, seriously. What is he doing here? You're like 2 or 3 levels above this show, Kenny. You're not supposed to be here. What are you doing here?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. I would find a way to watch Impact if Kenny Omega was on the show. Then me and Caleb could actually talk about it.
The free match of the week is the Golden Lovers taking on Cody and Hangman. I think, when was that from? That was from Dantaku?
Yeah.
Wrestling Dantaku?
Right? Yeah.
Something like that, yeah. It's on New Japan World. Check that out. Also, we talked a few weeks ago about the new merch that's coming out on, with New Japan. They actually have a partnership going with Hello Kitty and Pac-Man with these different shirts with the Bullet Club, as well as other merch like the new LIJ shirts that are in the red, white, and blue, which are pretty dope. I'm kind of like, man, I kind of want one of those.
Yeah, you go on their site, they have the information. These shirts are going to be also available at the G1 in San Francisco show.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
The Young Bucks. The Young Bucks just recently released, we've talked about their Funko Pops, but their Hot Topic exclusive Funko Pops just dropped earlier this past week, as well as a new shirt for Bad Luck Fale. He finally has a shirt in Hot Topic.
Oh, nice.
So,
I've been hearing those Young Bucks Pops have been flying off the shelves.
I'm sure
I've been seeing everybody on my timeline posting pictures with them.
Last couple things here. So, the new president of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Harold Mai, did an interview this past week, and he revealed the numbers, the official numbers for the New Japan World subscriptions. He said they're officially at 100,000, and of those 100,000 subscribers, 40,000 of them are outside of New Japan, or outside of Japan. Why do I always call it New Japan? It's terrible.
The name of the country is now New Japan.
Yeah, the name of the country is New Japan. And he said that they're using that kind of analytics and things like that to target outside of Japan and figure out new strategies to expand their international exposure and bring more fans to Japan, to New Japan. So real interesting stuff. And then the last thing here, there's a new episode of Being the Elite that came out today called Memorial. And I just want to say, I think this is one of the funniest episodes of Being the Elite they've ever done.
This episode was hilarious from top to bottom. If you're not watching Being the Elite, you need to, and you really need to watch this episode.
Yeah, this episode had me dying. There was they started off the show with the Young Bucks in the hotel room with Chris Jericho, and he invited them to become members of the Alpha Club.
Right. So
they are officially now both Bullet Club and
Alpha Club
and Elite and Golden Elite. These guys have no allegiance.
And then on Instagram, I saw they made a post about the Alpha Club, and they tagged the Jericho Cruise. And so clearly on the Jericho Cruise, it will be the Alpha Club, Jericho, the Bucks of Jericho, or Y2 Jackson.
I like Y2 Jackson better than the Bucks of Jericho.
So I guess there will be some kind of 6-man on the boat.
Yeah. So probably them in like SoCal Uncensored.
That or them against Cody, Skrull, and Hangman.
Or they could go against, what's it called? The Kingdom.
Yeah. So a lot of choices.
So yeah, that's happening there. There was a lot of funny. What happened on this episode? I'm not even trying to remember. We just watched it.
They got a little bit more of a little bit more on like Christopher Daniels was kind of upset that Stephen Amell got out, because remember we saw last episode he was the one that framed Stephen Amell. Yeah, we haven't figured out why yet. Yeah, we don't know why. And then essentially they did a memorial for Joey Ryan, and that is one of the funniest clip. Like that bit is hilarious. They were doing an anti-drug bit. Oh yeah, but the SCU, they had like Tic Tacs. Yeah, and they were like, "You want some of these gimmicks?" So they're trying to offer him drugs, and then Cody came in and stormed in the middle of their bit, and he's like, "Why are we doing this bit? Why are you doing this?" He's like, "This bit's over. This whole thing's over, not the way you want it to be over." And then he's like, "Are you guys taking the money?" He's like, "Is Kenny Omega taking the money?" And so he's alluding to the idea, are they going to go to WWE, which I thought was... He did say that. He was like... Yeah. I forgot his line, but he's like, something about your WWE something. Oh, yeah, he was talking about taking the WWE money because, they were flirting with the New Day and that sort of thing. Yeah. And I thought it was very interesting that they brought that up on the show. Yeah, they censored out WWE. Yeah, so I don't know. That's interesting. And then, they did the stuff with Joey Ryan. And then at the end of the show, there was 2 teases, because Hangman did the speech at the funeral thing. It was so funny. He left, and then somebody tapped him on the shoulder, and he was like, "It's Joey Ryan." Do you see how hairy the dude's arm is? It's clearly Joey Ryan. He's like, "You didn't kill Joey Ryan. I did." And then at the end of the episode, essentially, they're riding in the car, and Nick and Matt start hypothesizing about how they never found Joey's body, so maybe he's actually alive. And then Nick has one of his famous visions, which I've missed the visions. I've been wondering where they've been. Now, and then he was like, "What was it?" And he's like, "Well." I think it was hilarious. He was just sitting there with his sunglasses on, and Matt's like, "What's wrong with you?" And then Matt pulls his sunglasses off, and you see the eyes Yeah. And then he said it had nothing to do with them. It had nothing to do with Joey Ryan. He's like, "But something's going to happen, and it's bad." Yeah, something bad's going to happen. And then it's like, "What are you talking about?" So I think, I think that has to do with G1. Yeah, G1 Special. G1 Special. Yeah. There have been people who've been hypothesizing that there'll be a split with the Bullet Club and the Golden Elite, which kind of makes a lot of sense. So yeah. I don't know. But that's going to do it for the show. Yeah. That's going to wrap things up for us. So thanks again, guys, for listening to another episode of Keeping It Strong Style. Next week, we'll be back with a review of the G1 Special in San Francisco. Of course, we'll keep you updated with all the news that's happening in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Make sure you connect with us on social media. On Twitter, I'm at Jeremy L. Donovan. Our show is at KI Strong Style. Follow Social Suplex at Social Suplex. On Facebook, we're facebook.com/Social Suplex. Find us in the Wrestling Squared Circle Facebook group. That's facebook.com/group/Wrestling Squared Circle. On Reddit, I am the Pro Black Guy. Josh is Keeping It Strong Style. Make sure you're checking out all the shows on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We have One Nation Radio, One Nation Live, hosted by Rich Latta. He's also doing a lot of video stuff on his YouTube channel. Check out his Alexa Bliss rant. It is hilarious. We have the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show from Scotland. They're doing a special episode this week looking at hardcore wrestling, since the Extreme Rules pay-per-view is coming up in WWE. We have the Outsider's Edge with Rance and Carl. We also have our independent wrestling podcast, Grown Men Watch This Shit, hosted by Jeremy Tate and Chris Bryant. And also be on the lookout for a Social Suplex Radio interview with independent wrestler, the Captain Aaron Nova. Should be dropping that sometime this week. Be on the lookout for that. And don't forget to subscribe to the network and leave us a rating and review. Your rating and review helps us get over. And so, till next time, goodbye and good night. Bang.
Thank you for listening to Keepin' It Strong Style. We'll see you next time.